Chapter 669. The owner of the shadow-bearing sword is out. The heavenly lord of heartless pupils shrank. If we can't trap Qing Su, we won't be his opponent at all, no matter how he erupts with his speed. We'll have to borrow the leakless great astrolabe to trap him. Right now, let's retreat. Otherwise, with our current strength, we won't be able to fight against two powerful individuals at the same time. The Styx River holy man made a prompt decision. Let's go. While the heavenly lord of goodness was unwilling to accept the death of the heavenly lord of Shueda, he also understood that the few of them would not be able to fight against two powerful individuals. Go. Did I allow you to go? The master of the shadow-bearing sword's face was cold. In the next moment, he actually shot off, as if he had directly fused with space, vanishing from everyone's vision just like that. Let alone regular saints, even Qing Su was unable to sense the master of the shadow-bearing sword's location. It's the phantom killing spell. Be careful, combine our realms into one. The Styx River holy man roared, heavenly lord of heartless, once he appears, use your love destroyer immediately. Only then can we confirm his location. All right. The heavenly lord of heartless replied loudly. But at this moment, Tsing Hui's figure suddenly appeared. His powerful consciousness locked onto the heavenly lord of heartless. Heavenly lord of heartless. You used your love destroyer to slash me a few times. Did you feel good? Then, come and experience the power of my sword mind. After he finished speaking, a blazing sword radiance exploded from Tsing Hui's body. Behind him, there seemed to be a huge sun that rose above the horizon. After that, it released countless radiances that lit up the vision of the heavenly lord of heartless. No. This was not a light in his vision, but a light in his spiritual world. Under this sword intent, his spiritual world seemed to be completely covered by this power, causing his mind to be completely immersed in this sword intent, so much so that he neglected everything outside. When Heavenly Lord Merciless regained his senses, he realized that Heavenly Holy Man Ming he had already burned the domain origin. The vast and surging domain power was like a surging river, revolving around Heavenly Lord Shangshan, Heavenly Lord Yunda, and the others. The moment he regained his senses, he saw the shadow-bearing sword owner's untraceable sword strike. The sword was formless and traceless. Before the virtuous cloud heavenly monarch could even react, the level 18 divine weapon, the shadow-bearing sword, had already pierced through his head silently. In that instant, the virtuous cloud heavenly monarch's head was smashed into pieces. Damn it! Heaven Lord Merciless let out a low roar. Before the sword chi in the shadow-bearing sword could completely crush Heaven Lord Cloud Virtue's body, the love destroyer had already reformed. Rumble. Almost at the same moment when he reformed the love destroyer, a vast and terrifying sun rose from his spiritual world, releasing endless light and heat. It instantly ignited his spiritual world, and the pain of his divine soul burning forced him to disperse the love destroyer's shadow, suppressing the boiling and burning spiritual world. Fortunately, before his spiritual world was ignited, he saw with his own eyes that the virtuous cloud heavenly holy man's body was swept into the Styx River formed by heavenly holy man Ming He's domain. As long as the body was still there, he could still be revived with the resurrection art. At most, his vitality would be greatly damaged, and he would need to recuperate for a period of time. In such a situation where they were almost beaten up, the saints of the heavenly way and divine path sect fought and retreated, finally escaping to the Karma Peak. Fortunately, the Karma Peak was only 1,000 kilometers away from the battlefield they were in. For saints who could fly 40 to 50 kilometers in a breath, it was only a distance of a dozen breaths. After all, the array formation on the Karma Peak could cover a radius of 200 to 300 kilometers. If this escape route was a little longer, not much longer, just 5,000 to 6,000 kilometers, all the saints present would have to use the teleportation art to save their lives. Who? Once they entered the Karma Peak, the heavenly lord of Heartless, the Styx River holy man and the rest started to pant heavily. As they looked at Tsing Hui, the Qingying Swordmaster, Xingyi Swordmaster and the rest who did not dare to enter the Karma Peak, a look of fear flashed across their eyes. Heavenly Lord of Heartless, what's going on? Why can't you provide any reinforcements on this escape route? Sometimes, you even have to let us bring you along. As the Heavenly Lord of Shangshan entered the Chaos Pavilion to contact the Son of Chaos, he turned his gaze to the Heavenly Lord of Heartless. Don't say any more. The Styx River holy man seemed to understand something. He looked at Xing Hui, who was outside the array formation, and said, "If I'm not wrong, the Heavenly Lord of Heartless is completely suppressed." The Heavenly Lord of Heartless' expression was a little gloomy as he said, "That's right. That Cho Tsing Hui's sword mind is very strong, very strong. Under the attack of his sword mind, I can barely defend myself. I can't resist at all." The Wu's holy man at one side was a little shocked as he heard this. "Heavenly Lord of Heartless, you are the most proficient cultivator of the soul amongst us. Under the attack of his sword mind, you can barely defend yourself. If he uses this method on us, all of you will be shaken to the point of instability. Then, in the moment of distraction, you will be killed instantly." The Heavenly Lord of Heartless said seriously, "That's why I have to advise all of you to prepare some defensive measures against the attack of his sword mind. Even if you don't have any similar mystical objects, you have to construct some defensive measures in your own spiritual world. Once you go out, you have to be alert at all times. Otherwise, if all of you meet him alone, I'm afraid you won't even have the chance to use the teleportation art. You will be killed instantly." The Heavenly Lord of Heartless words not only shocked the Heavenly Lord of Goodness, the Wu's holy man, and even the Nether River holy man, his sword mind is so strong. Even the Zhu Zhao, the Samsara holy master, and the Xuanji palace master can't kill a divine sage instantly. For those divine sages who don't have the ability to defend their souls and haven't cultivated their souls, Xing Hui is even more terrifying than the Zhu Zhao, the Samsara holy master, and the Xuanji palace master. As the Heavenly Lord of Heartless spoke, he glanced at the Karma Peak before glancing at the ball of chaotic chi that was over 100 kilometers in diameter hovering above the Karma Peak. He said helplessly, "The Karma Peak can't be defended anymore. Let's retreat. Qing Su has such a wondrous item, so this formation will be destroyed before long. Unless a supreme expert appears on our side, we can only place our hopes on the Chaos Holy Man. Once the Chaos Holy Man uses a long time to trap the Zhu Zhao, Sangxiong, Baihang, Chanhong, and Yuing in the Chaos Realm of Origin, he'll have time to deal with these stray dogs from the Zangxiong, Jianxiong, and Baihang sword sect." The Heavenly Lord of Goodness clenched his fists tightly. His heart was filled with hatred and indignation. However, looking at the Xing Hui, the shadow-bearing sword master, the Xingyi sword master, and the others outside the Karma Peak, he could only lower his head helplessly and suppress this hatred in his heart. Although he was considered one of the best among the ordinary divine sages, whether it was Xing Hui or the shadow-bearing sword master, any one of them had the ability to kill him. If he rushed out rashly, he would only be courting death. The Divine Path sect had already lost a Heavenly Lord of Water Virtue, and the Heavenly Lord of Cloud Virtue's body had been destroyed. He needed to be revived using the resurrection technique. If anything happened to him, the Divine Path sect was almost done for. I didn't expect such a young expert to have been born in the Tianqiong domain. After we trap the Zhu Zhao and the others, we must immediately ask the Chaos Holy Man to deal with him personally. Otherwise, if we let him continue to grow, the Divine Path sect will never have a day of peace." The Nether River Holy Man said solemnly. The others nodded their heads in agreement. In these few battles, the Divine Path sect had first lost the Zhurong Holy Man, and now the Heavenly Lord of Water Virtue. Two great experts had fallen. The last time this kind of crisis occurred was more than 60 years ago in the great battle to kill the divine beasts. However, although the Divine Path sect had lost 3 divine sages in that battle, they had killed 2 divine beasts. It was unlike this time, where 2 divine sages had died for nothing. The great situation that the Chaos Holy Man had created had been ruined into a stalemate. They escaped quickly. The shadow-bearing sword master said somewhat unwillingly. How many of them burned their domain origin this time? The consequences of burning their domain origin are not so simple to recover from. The Xingyi sword master said with a smile. He seemed to be in a good mood. That may not be so. Don't compare us with the Divine Path sect. The Divine Path sect's foundation is much stronger than ours. Burning their domain origin is very troublesome for us, but it may not be so for the Divine Path sect. The shadow-bearing sword master said. The smile on the Xingyi sword master's face faded a little when he heard this. However, he still appeared relaxed and said, although burning their domain origin may be able to recover quickly, how can they make up for the divine sages that they lost? The Divine Path sect has lost the Heavenly Lord of Water Virtue. This time, they will definitely suffer. This is also a powerful counterattack against the Divine Path sect by our 3 sections. We will dampen their arrogance. The Heavenly Lord of Water Virtue is not the first. I remember hearing that the Tsinghui sword master killed the Zhurong holy man. I wonder if that's true. The shadow-bearing sword master turned to Tsinghui and said. It should be. Unless the Zhurong holy man is very lucky and the location that he teleported to was saved by someone, he will definitely die. Tsinghui said. After saying that, he raised his head and glanced at the chaotic realm that was shrouded in the protective formation of the Karma Peak. He said in a deep voice, we'd better destroy this formation as soon as possible. After destroying the formation on the Karma Peak, we'll try to find a way to tear the chaotic realm apart and rescue Master Zhuzhao and the others. The shadow-bearing sword master, Xingyi sword master and the others nodded their heads seriously. Then, the 3 of them retreated to the point where the power of the ley line gathered. They planned to use the earth-shaking cudgel to destroy the entire Karma Peak. However, before the green ruins could completely cause this earthquake that could destroy the Karma Peak, the master of the shadow-bearing sword who would go there to investigate the enemy's movements from time to time brought back a piece of good news. The people of the Heavenly Tao and the Divine Path sect had retreated. At this moment, the only problem that they faced to save the Zhurong Holy Man, the Heavenly Lord, the Baiheng Sword Master, the Long Rainbow Sword Master and the Shadow Sword Master was the chaotic origin world. Chapter 670. My strength is built on the shadow-bearing sword. This sword can turn me into a shadow. Simply put, it can allow me to travel through the void silently. It will automatically conceal all the fluctuations for me, allowing me to transform into the strongest shadow assassin when I wield this sword. It will be invincible. The owner of the shadow-bearing sword said regretfully, the shadow-bearing godly sword gave me a powerful assassination ability, but it didn't give me a powerful offensive ability. Therefore, I'm not much stronger than Firmament Master, Anusrava Holy Man, and the others in a head-on battle. Therefore, I'm helpless against this chaotic dimension. Sword Master Xingyi added, in fact, there might not be anyone in the entire divine wilderness who can tear apart the Chaos Holy Man's chaotic primordial realm. Among the people I know, there is also the Tai Yi Emperor, who is unparalleled in killing and has a cultivation of the void transformation realm. Let me give it a try. Tsinghui said reluctantly. The shadow-bearing sword master and Xingyi sword master looked at each other. They were also unwilling to retreat without making a move. All right, the 3 of us will attack together and see if we can tear apart the chaotic origin realm. But be careful, the chaotic origin realm isn't a dead object. It's ruled by the Chaos Holy Man. In fact, the Chaos Holy Man should know that we're here. It's just that he's merged with the chaotic origin realm, or rather, he's the chaotic origin realm and has no time to take care of us. Therefore, once we see the chaotic origin realm expanding outwards, we have to retreat quickly. Sword Master Xingyi cautioned, the only thing worth rejoicing over is that the chaotic primordial realm that the Chaos Holy Man has transformed into is already separated from the divine wilderness world that we are in. Hence, it won't be easy for him to expand his territory, and he won't be able to do so quickly. We have enough time to react and retreat. Xing Hui nodded. Then, the three of them had already soared into the void. They looked at the chaotic origin qi that was constantly surging with a diameter of hundreds of kilometers above their heads with solemn expressions. Let's first accumulate our strength. After 10 breaths, we'll strike. All right. The three of them looked at each other, and the power in their bodies surged. The sword intents of Sword Master Xingyi and Sword Master Qingying exploded and seethed. They kept controlling the power of their domains and adding it to their weapons. After 10 breaths, the three of them waved their swords at the same time. At that moment, a terrifying power that could destroy the world burst out from their weapons, turning into meteors, suns, and sword lights, shooting into the chaos dimension that was over 100 kilometers in diameter. As these attacks blasted into the primal chaos realm, the airflow surrounding the primal chaos realm was directly torn apart. However, after the airflow was torn apart, more airflow surged in from all directions and poured into the torn area. For a moment, the attacks of the three seemed to have been devoured by an invisible mouth. Apart from shooting out bursts of fire from deep within the airflow and causing the surrounding primal chaos Yuan Qi to churn, they did not cause any substantial damage. Furthermore, even the earth-shattering rumble did not appear. As expected, it can't be broken. Sword Master Qingying and Sword Master Xingyi revealed a look of regret. Xing Hui, on the other hand, frowned and suddenly soared into the sky. In the next moment, he activated the light-chasing ability. The deep scarlet sword in his hand seemed to turn into a dazzling sword shadow, shooting out thousands of sword lights in an instant. Every sword light was a sword of sunlight, and the power of each sword of sunlight was not inferior to a great ability. If it hit an almighty directly, it would definitely be able to kill him on the spot. Within 10 breaths, Xing Hui brazenly slashed out over 100 times, shooting into the primal chaos realm in front of him. Over 100 swords of sunlight exploded one after another, illuminating the primal chaos realm in a dazzling light. It was like black charcoal that had been burned by fire, looking ferocious and terrifying. When they saw the Green Ruins Sword Master unleash sword after sword of sunlight like a storm, the shadow-bearing Sword Master and Xingyi Sword Master were immediately dumbfounded. This is the true power of Sword Master Xing Hui. Such a terrifying swordsmanship ability, and it can be so fast. This is simply unreasonable. Who can block this? Who can block this swordsmanship ability? They can block one sword, but how can they block the second, third, and fourth sword that follow? An attack like that has definitely reached the level of sovereigns. If anyone dares to say that the master of the Green Ruins sword isn't a sovereign, I'll get mad at them. No, this is no longer the level of regular sovereigns. In terms of pure attacks, the master of the Green Ruins sword has probably surpassed those sovereigns. If it's a head-on clash, probably even esteemed Zhu Zhao is slightly inferior to the master of the Green Ruins sword. The two sword masters widened their eyes. At this moment it was as if they had truly understood Xing Hui's true strength. Unfortunately, even though Qing Su's attacks were extremely powerful, and every single slash was like a storm. Moreover, the power contained in every single slash was no weaker than a great ability, but, that was all. The Chaos Element realm easily swallowed up hundreds of Xing Hui's sunburst swords. Even Xing Hui, who had slashed out hundreds of sunburst swords, was so tired that he was gasping for breath. However, the Chaos Element realm did not show any signs of being torn apart. It did not even show any signs of shrinking or dimming. Seeing this, the eyes of Sword Master Qingying and Sword Master Xingyi, who were originally extremely shocked, quickly dimmed. Such a terrifying and storm-like attack can't do anything to the Chaos Element realm. In terms of pure attack power, Sword Master Xing Hui's attack power is not inferior to Emperor Tai Yi's, right? Sword Master Xingyi looked a little dejected. Indeed, it's not inferior to Emperor Tai Yi's, but Emperor Tai Yi can't tear apart the Chaos Element realm. Even if 3 Emperor Tai Yi join forces, they can't do anything to the Chaos Element realm. Sword Master Chengying smiled bitterly. For a moment, the 2 Sword Masters fell silent at the same time. In the vast Chaos Element realm, only Tsing Hui's exhausted gasps could be heard. This was the Chaos Element realm, and this was how terrifying Chaos Daoist Master was. Perhaps his offensive power wasn't that great, but by relying on the Chaos Primordial realm, he was definitely able to trap people. No one would be able to do anything to him. Tsing Hui, let's go back first. Let's brainstorm and see if we can come up with a solution. Sword Master Chengying said. Tsing Hui raised his head and looked at the Chaos Element realm that was surging continuously. He felt a deep sense of helplessness in his heart. According to the effect of the hundreds of sunburst swords that he had slashed out, even if he had activated the divine technique and the power of his sword could shatter the vacuum, he was still a little far from truly breaking the Chaos Element realm. After all, there was a difference between the vacuum formed by his sunburst swords and the vacuum formed by a true vacuum expert. It was just like how the light of a candle could be compared to the light of a scorching sun. Immediately, the group returned to the Rainbow Sword Sect. As soon as they arrived, Sword Master Pengguang, Sword Saint Caressing, and the others quickly came forward to welcome them. At the same time, Venerable Zhuzhao's second disciple, Yulan, and a few others from Sword Shadow also came forward to welcome them. Seeing the reaction of Tsing Hui and the others, these people seemed to have understood something. Although they did not ask, their expressions turned gloomy. In fact, you don't have to be so pessimistic. At this time, Yulan suddenly said, we may not be able to tear the Chaos Element realm apart with ordinary methods to rescue my master, Venerable Firmament, Sword Master Baihang, Sword Master Long Rainbow, and Sword Master Yuang. However, this does not mean that we are completely helpless against the Chaos Element realm. Don't forget that we have the Chaos Treasure Pavilion, and the Chaos Treasure Pavilion is rich in an item called the Heavenly Grotto Stone. If a Divine Realm expert draws out the power of the Heavenly Grotto Stone to attack, it will have a significant amplification effect on shattering the void. Therefore, as long as we accumulate enough Heavenly Grotto Stones, we may be able to tear a hole in the Chaos Element realm and rescue Venerable Zhuzhao and the others. Heavenly Grotto Stone. Hearing Yulan's words, the eyes of Tsing Hui and the others suddenly lit up. Yes, 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 the Heavenly Abode Stone. How could we forget about it? If we have the Heavenly Abode Stone, we will be able to unleash an attack that is close to the level of a vacuum-crushing expert. No matter how strong the chaotic realm of Chaos Holy Man is, it will be torn apart in the face of several or even a dozen vacuum-crushing attacks. Who has the Heavenly Abode Stone? I have 3 Heavenly Grotto Stones. The Heavenly Grotto Stone is a supreme treasure for escaping from the void interlayer. I have a spare, I have 1. Our Baihong Sword Sect also has 3 Heavenly Grotto Stones in storage. Soon, they had gathered 9 Heavenly Grotto Stones. 9 Heavenly Grotto Stones. In order to ensure that these Heavenly Grotto Stones can unleash the greatest attack, we'd better let 9 Divine Realm experts attack at the same time. Tsing Hui said. At present, we still have 3 Divine Realm experts on our side. Including Sword Master Wuxia of the Sword Shadow Sect, we have 4 people in total. Count me in. The enemy at Causal Peak has been defeated, and the place we are going to is not far from the Baihong Sword Sect. Even if there is any danger, we can retreat immediately. Sword Master Pengguang said. 5 Divine Realm experts. We are still a little short of 9. Sword Master Xingyi said. Tsing Hui suddenly thought of something and sneered, didn't the Black Flame sect always say that they want to join the alliance of the 3 of us? Earlier on, all of you seemed to be moving around. Why are there no movements all of a sudden? Black Flame sect. Sword Master Pengguang creased his eyebrows. Not long ago, we did ask for help from the Black Flame sect, hoping that they would send a Divine Realm expert to help. However, the Black Flame sect used the excuse that real God suffering is recuperating, the only real God is in seclusion, and the Savior real God needs to be in the sect as an excuse to not send anyone over. That's not up to them. Seeing that the alliance of the three of us has become stronger, they are thinking of ways to join our alliance to seek protection. Now that we need them to mobilize their power, they are looking for all sorts of reasons and excuses. They are afraid of the slightest thing. Tsing Hui stood up and said sternly, "I will make a trip to the Black Flame sect personally. I would like to see if real God's suffering is really recuperating and if the only real God is in seclusion." Chapter 671. Black Flame Sect. At that very moment, the three holiness real gods in Black Flame sect were restless. Real God suffering real God had fallen into Tsing Hui's hands and was extorted by Tsing Hui of 1,500 Taoist rhyme items. He had emptied the entire Black Flame sect. Theoretically, he hated the alliance between Tianqiong, Baihong Sword Sect, and Sword Shadow the most. However, in actual fact, after knowing that Tsing Hui's real cultivation time was less than 40 years, he was the one who advocated the alliance with Tianqiong and Baihong Sword Sect the most. Real God Savior, on the other hand, was against it. At that very moment, Real God Savior was venting his dissatisfaction in the meeting hall. "Real God suffering, don't forget how Tianqiong treated Black Flame sect back then. Because of you, not only did he steal 1,500 Taoist rhyme items from Black Flame sect, he even forced us to hand over Qixin Dharma King and let them do whatever they want with him. Until now, there are people in the sect who are complaining about this. A few Dharma Kings have already disagreed with Black Flame sect. If something like this were to happen a few more times, the entire Black Flame sect would fall apart. Is that what you want to see? Real God Savior, that's not what I meant. The reason why Qixin Dharma King joined Black Flame sect was to seek protection from Black Flame sect. However, over the years, not only did he not bring any benefits to Black Flame sect, but he also attracted a terrifying enemy like Sword Master Tsing Hui. He forced Black Flame sect to lose 1,500 Taoist rhyme items. It's completely reasonable for us to hand them over. However, since we've already discussed the alliance with Tianqiong, Baihong Sword Sect, and Sword Shadow, we should advance and retreat together. Now that Tianqiong Master and Zhuzhao Master, Baihong Sword Master and Long Rainbow Sword Master, and Sword Master Shadow of Sword Shadow are trapped by Chaos Holy Man, Black Flame sect should display the value of Black Flame sect at this crucial moment so that we can enter the core of the alliance and gain their trust. From now on, we'll advance and retreat together. True God suffering True God earnestly advised. You said it yourself. The one who trapped Master Firmament, Master Zhu Zhao, Master Baihang, and the others is the Chaos Holy Man. What kind of person is the Chaos Holy Man? The leader of the Heavenly Way, the number one expert in the Heavenly Way, and one of the top 3 ultimate experts. If we, the Black Flame sect, were to interfere in this war, we would be doomed eternally if we were not careful. Furthermore, even if we, the Black Flame sect, wanted to interfere in this war, do you think that we would be able to help? Right now, our Black Flame sect did not pursue the matter of them extorting 1,500 Taoist rhymes from us. Instead, we maintained our neutrality. This is already giving them enough face. Otherwise, I'm afraid I'll have to go to the Sky Dome realm and demand an explanation from them for what happened back then. It's easy to add flowers to embroidery, but difficult to provide timely help. Currently, Sky Dome sect, Rainbow Sword sect, and Shadow Sword sect are indeed in a difficult situation. However, as the saying goes, hardship reveals a person's heart. At this time, if our Black Flame sect can express our attitude, we will be able to gain the trust of Sky Dome sect, Rainbow Sword sect, and Shadow Sword sect. As True God Suffering said this, he seemed to feel that this meaningless argument would not help the entire situation. He stood up and was too lazy to continue. True God of Salvation, if you are not willing to go, I will go alone. Hold on. True God Suffering, you are one of the 3 true gods in our Black Flame sect. If you were to go, it would be tantamount to representing our Black Flame sect's attitude. By then, even if our Black Flame sect wanted to stay out of the matter, they would definitely not let our Black Flame sect off in the revenge attack from Tian Dao. Hence, you can't go. True God of Salvation stood up and shouted. Revenge attack. I think the target of revenge that you need to pay attention to isn't Tian Dao, but Sky Dome. Or rather, sword owner Tsing Hui from Sky Dome. You only see how powerful Tian Dao is, but you don't see the potential of Sky Dome sect, Rainbow Sword sect, and the other powerhouses. True God Suffering said in a deep voice, don't forget, what kind of person is esteemed Zhu Zhao? He is the most talented divine being. He was once known as the #1 person in the divine wilderness. After esteemed Zhu Zhao, who is the most talented person in the divine wilderness? Sword owner Bai Heng. Tian Dao was afraid of sword owner Bai Heng's potential. Hence, it allowed the Divine Path sect, which they controlled, to target Rainbow Sword sect and suppress sword owner Bai Heng's growth space. After sword owner Bai Heng, who is the #1 person in the younger generation? Tsing Hui. The master of the Green Ruins Sword in the Sky, a person who has cultivated for less than 40 years, is an invincible existence who can rival saints and even surpass regular saints. I believe you've heard about the news from the Conli continent, right? An ultimate expert, a new ultimate expert, an existence whose talent is even more terrifying than sword owner Bai Heng's. He is the #1 person in the divine wilderness with the most potential in the 3rd generation. They are all in this alliance. Now, we have a chance to completely integrate into this alliance and gain their trust. Why should we not hold on to it and remain indifferent? True God Suffering's words caused True God of Salvation's expression to change slightly. The only true God, who had not expressed his position, thought carefully and was shocked. The #1 person in our generation, the next generation, and the generation after that are all in this alliance. If this alliance can really survive this calamity, their future prospects are limitless, limitless. The Savior True God also noticed this. Although his face was a little pale, he was still unwilling to give in. We'll have to wait until they get through this crisis. If their alliance can really get through this crisis, I have no objection to the Black Flame sect joining them. But now, short-sighted. True God Suffering shouted. Salvation, you have really disappointed me. Ignoring the fact that if this alliance survives this calamity, we will not be able to easily gain their trust. Even if they can't survive this calamity, so what? Let me tell you, the most terrifying person in their entire alliance isn't the Illuminator. Even though the Illuminator can be called the greatest of the saints, he's already advanced in age, and the upper limit of his growth has already been fixed. Moreover, the greatest threat isn't Sword Master Bai Heng either. Even though Sword Master Bai Heng possesses battle prowess close to a sovereign, he seems extremely young, and his talent is indisputable, but he's still within the scope of our understanding. Out of the 3 sects, the Celestial Dome sect, the Fogbow Sword sect, and the Sword Shadow sect, the most shocking, unbelievable, and despair-inducing person is the Green Ruins Sword Master. It's true that the esteemed Zhu Zhao and the Sword Master Bai Heng are trapped. Even if they die in the future, as long as the Sword Master Qing Su is fine, their alliance will definitely rise up again and crush the heavenly ways. Sword owner Tsing Hui. True God of Salvation was shocked. However, when he thought about Qing Su's legendary past, the only true God could no longer sit still. He immediately said sternly, I agree with True God of Suffering. True God of Salvation, if you really don't want to show yourself, you can activate the protective formation and stay in the Black Flame sect. True God of Suffering and I will lead the elites of the sect to the White Rainbow Sword sect as reinforcements. True God Suffering saw that the one true God was finally convinced and his face was instantly filled with joy. He quickly said, okay. We will go and gather the people now. True God of Salvation opened his mouth and wanted to say something. However, he saw that true God's suffering and the one true God had already made up their minds. He could only remain silent and did not speak anymore. At this moment, the master of purification of Black Flame sect flew over and quickly reported, "Three true gods, there is news from the Karma Peak battlefield. Swordmaster Tsing Hui, Swordmaster Qingying and Swordmaster Xingyi have entered the Karma Peak and fought with Heavenly Lord Wuqing, Styx River Holy Man, Wuxia Holy Man, Heavenly Lord Shangshan, Heavenly Lord Yunda and Heavenly Lord Shueda. In this battle, Heavenly Lord Shueda was killed by Swordmaster Tsing Hui while Heavenly Lord Yunda's physical body was destroyed by Swordmaster Qingying. The Heavenly Dao was defeated and retreated from the Karma Peak battlefield. Currently, they are all hiding in the Divine Path sect. Defeated? The Heavenly Dao was defeated. The 6 sages, including the Heavenly Lord of Heartless, the Styx River Holy Man, and the Heavenly Lord of Shangshan, were actually defeated by the Green Ruin Swordmaster, the Shadow-bearing Swordmaster, and the Xingyi Swordmaster. How is this possible? Quick, what was the scene of that battle? Quickly tell me. The world Savior True God, the one true God and the suffering true God hurried him. Afterwards, the Heavenly Lord of Mercilessness, the Heavenly Lord of Shangshan, the Heavenly Lord of Mercilessness, the Heavenly Lord of Shangshan, and the Styx River Holy Man all moved together to kill the Green Ruins Swordmaster. However, the Green Ruins Swordmaster was able to kill the Styx River Holy Man with a single strike. However, the Green Ruins Swordmaster was slain by the Green Ruins Swordmaster with a single strike, but the Green Ruins Swordmaster was able to revive the Styx River Holy Man due to his art of backtracking, forcing the other saints to retreat. At the same time, the Shadow-bearing Swordmaster and the Xingyi Swordmaster tore through the Styx River Holy Man's colorless realm. The two of them unleashed their might and defeated the Heavenly Lord of the Heavenly Cloud Holy Man. As they fled, the Heavenly Lord of the Virtue of Cloud was slain by a single strike from the Shadow-bearing Swordmaster. If the Styx River Holy Man had not reacted extremely quickly and saved his corpse, the Heavenly Lord of the Virtue of Cloud probably would not even be left of his corpse. Hiss. The suffering true God, the one true God and the world Savior true God all sucked in a breath of cold air. Tsing Hui, not only was he safe and sound under the combined attack of Heavenly Lord Wuqing, Styx River Holy Man, Heavenly Lord Shangshan, Heavenly Lord Shud and Heavenly Lord Yunda, he even killed Heavenly Lord Shud. Heavenly Lord Wuqing, Styx River Holy Man and Heavenly Lord Shangshan were the cream of the crop among the divine sages. When the three of them teamed up, even great sages like the Holy Master of the Bottomless Utopia, Jade Emperor Holy Man, Swordmaster Qingying and Sun Moon Divine King had to avoid them. However, Tsing Hui not only fought the three of them head-on, he even killed one of them with the help of Swordmaster Shud and Yunda. This battle power, the Green Ruins Swordmaster's strength is probably on par with Venerable Zhu Zhao, the Samsara Lord, and the Hall Master of the 4 Stars Hall. The one true God said softly. The world Savior true God and the suffering true God were silent. After a while, the world Savior true God, who had been against the Black Flame sect joining the war, said somewhat awkwardly, "True gods, please bring our Black Flame sect's guardian kings to the Rainbow Sword sect to help." Chapter 672. At this moment, Tsing Hui was flying towards the Black Flame sect. He had no idea what was going on in the sect. However, not long after Tsing Hui flew towards the Black Flame sect, the commotion in the Primal Chaos Divine Palace startled Tsing Hui. He quickly sent a part of his consciousness into the Sky Dome realm. Although the Firmament Master was trapped in the Primal Chaos realm, his Sky Dome realm was embedded in the Primal Chaos Divine Palace. He had given Zhongzhen the Venerable Master and the others extremely high authority to use it. It was not that it no longer existed, it was just that the Firmament Master himself could not sense the connection between the Primal Chaos Divine Palace and the Sky Dome realm. "Venerable Master, what's the matter?" Tsing Hui stepped into the Sky Dome realm and saw the anxious Zhongzhen the Venerable Master, so he immediately asked. "Tsing Hui, those bastards from the Divine Ghost sect are going to take revenge on us for sneaking in and stealing the innate charm. 4 of our resource points were stolen, and the cultivators guarding the points were all killed. 3 of our powerful figures were even hunted down by the Divine Ghost sect. Only Bai Qi escaped with Lan Rui's help. Zhongjin the Venerable Master's eyes were filled with anger and killing intent. Killing Almighties is equivalent to declaring war on the other party's forces. If no Almighties died, Tianxiong could still avoid it and hand over those resource points. However, he has actually killed 2 of our Almighties. We have no choice but to respond to this matter. Otherwise, the other forces will probably think that Tianxiong is too weak to resist and try to bite off a piece of meat from Tianxiong. When Qing Su heard that, he immediately understood the severity of the matter. The Divine Ghost sect could be said to be taking revenge for sneaking into the Divine Ghost sect and stealing their innate charm. However, if the Divine Ghost sect did not retaliate and let the other forces of Infinite Wasteland know that the Divine Ghost sect had to face revenge after being enraged, the other forces would probably take action one after another. Once the situation developed, no matter how strong the Divine Ghost sect was, they would not be able to turn the situation around. Therefore, the Divine Ghost sect not only had to retaliate, but also had to do their best to inflict pain on the enemy. Only by killing the chicken to warn the monkey, could the onlooking forces be intimidated and let them know the price they had to pay for humiliating the Divine Ghost sect. I understand. Tsing Hui's expression turned cold. I will make the God Ghost sect pay the price. I've already heard about what happened at the Karma Peak battlefield. I'll use Sky Dome's channels to spread the news of that battle, letting the world know that we, Sky Dome, still have a supreme expert like you. However, if you can retaliate against the Divine Ghost sect at this time, I believe that the effect will be even more obvious. So obvious that as long as you're still in our Sky Dome, there won't be any other power in the entire Divine Wilderness that will dare to provoke our Sky Dome. Master Zhongjin said ruthlessly. Tsing Hui nodded slightly. I will go to the Divine Ghost sect now. Do you need any help? No need. Tsing Hui said. His consciousness returned to his body, and he was about to change directions and head towards the God-Demon Gate. However, at this moment, he seemed to have sensed something and immediately looked towards the horizon. Not long after, a huge battleship carrying a large number of experts was flying towards the Rainbow Sword sect. On the battleship, Tsing Hui sensed 2 familiar auras, Real God Suffering and Real God Only. The Black Flame sect's battleship. Tsing Hui muttered to himself and looked in the direction of the Black Flame sect's battleship. He stopped temporarily and waited in the void. Not long after, the Black Flame sect noticed where Tsing Hui was. When they saw that it was Tsing Hui, Real God Suffering and Real God Only seemed to have thought of something and their faces suddenly changed. They looked at each other and let out a sigh of relief. They were both glad that they had sent troops to assist the Rainbow Sword sect without hesitation. The 2 of them then quickly flew in front of Tsing Hui and bowed to him from afar. Greetings, Sword Master Tsing Hui. This place is less than 6,000 kilometers away from the Rainbow Sword sect. Real God Suffering and Real God Only are heading towards the Rainbow Sword sect. Tsing Hui looked at the 2 great saints who flew in front of him and asked calmly. Yes. We received news not long ago that the Heavenly Tao had trapped Master Firmament, Master Candlelight, Sword Master Baihang, Sword Master Long Rainbow, and Sword Shadow's Sword Master Yuing on the Karma Peak. We immediately gathered the experts scattered throughout the sect and specially headed to the White Rainbow Sword sect to see if we can help. Real God Suffering said sincerely. Oh, is that so? Tsing Hui saw. Although he didn't understand why the Black Flame sect had changed their mind, he couldn't force them since the 2 great saints were so tactful. However, as the Black Flame sect had other intentions, he had to intimidate them. There's nothing big happening at the Rainbow Sword sect for now. However, there's something I need to deal with at the Divine Ghost sect. I originally planned to deal with it alone, but after considering some things, it's not too convenient for me to deal with it alone. Now that I've met you all from the Black Flame sect, I'll have to trouble you all to follow me to the Divine Ghost sect. To the Ghost God sect? Real God Suffering was stunned. Aren't we going to provide assistance to the Rainbow Sword sect? The Rainbow Sword sect has Sword Master Qingying, Sword Master Xing Yi and Sword Master Peng Guang. They're very safe now. I believe that Tian Dao, who lost a great saint, won't have the guts to fight back against the Rainbow Sword sect. Instead, it's the Ghost God sect who dares to provoke us and kill our almighties. I'll let them know the price they have to pay for offending us. The Ghost God sect killed their almighties. Real God Suffering was shocked. However, he reacted quickly. Not everyone was like the Black Flame sect, constantly paying attention to the changes in the Karma Peak battlefield. If they waited for a day or two, the news of the battle on the Karma Peak would spread. After learning of Tsing Hui's true strength, the Ghost God sect might not have the courage to provoke Tian Dao. Unfortunately, the Ghost God sect didn't have much patience. After realizing that the first Dao Master of Tian Dao, Chaos Dao Master, had personally taken action and trapped Tian Dao's esteemed Xu Zhao, Sword Master Tian Dao, Sword Master Bai Heng and Sword Master Long Rainbow, as well as Sword Master Yuing in the Chaos Dimension, they couldn't wait to take revenge on Tian Dao. They even mercilessly killed the two almighties of Tian Dao. Now, it was time for them to pay for what they had done. We're willing to follow Sword Master Tsing Hui to the Ghost God sect and fight against them. Real God Suffering's mind spun quickly. In a short while, he made a decision without hesitation. Very well. Tsing Hui replied indifferently, then, let's not delay any further. We'll split into two. The two of you will follow me, while your battleship will turn around and head to the Ghost God sect. When they arrive, I reckon the Ghost God sect will be almost done. Almost done. What did he mean by almost done? Real God Suffering and Real God One were shocked. However, they didn't dare to go against Tsing Hui's words. Alright, we'll do as Sword Master Tsing Hui said. The two divine true gods agreed and gave orders to the few celestial phenomenon and earth-class experts on the battleship. Soon, they left and returned to Tsing Hui's side. They followed Tsing Hui and headed toward the Ghost God sect. The Ghost God sect, Black Flame cult, Divine Path sect, Rainbow Sword sect, and Sky Dome sect's base weren't too far apart from each other. They were all in a large region. In addition, with the Divine Realm experts flying at full speed, they could cover tens of thousands of kilometers in 2 hours. Hence, in less than 4 hours, Tsing Hui, Real God Suffering, and Real God One were already near the mountain gate of the Ghost God sect. Sword Master Tsing Hui, are we going to challenge them directly? Or are we going to investigate the almighties outside the Ghost God sect? Target a few of them and kill them one by one. We'll give them a taste of their own medicine. Real God Suffering asked. There's no need for that. Tsing Hui used the aura gazing technique and looked at the Ghost God sect for a while. Finally, he stopped at a mountain peak 1,800 kilometers away from the Ghost God sect. This mountain peak was the intersection point of the Ghost God sect's earth vein chi. Even though the Ghost God sect's protective formation was of a high level and had the ability to absorb energy from the void, as long as Tsing Hui could destroy all the earth vein chi, even if he couldn't completely destroy the Ghost God sect's protective formation, he would be able to destroy most of it. Most importantly, with the earthquake, the many palaces, pavilions, and courtyards built in the Ghost God sect would definitely collapse. Even though the collapse would be slow and wouldn't hurt the disciples of the Ghost God sect, if more than half of the mountain gate was destroyed, it would still make the Ghost God sect go crazy. You too, keep an eye on them. If the gods of the Ghost God sect fly out, inform me immediately. Tsing Hui said. The gods of the Ghost God sect fly out. Real God Suffering and Real God One were slightly stunned. The Divine Ghost sect had 3 saints on their side, and they had 3 saints on their side as well. Among them, Qing Su was one of the more outstanding saints, so why would the Divine Ghost sect give up on the advantage of their protective formation and leave the range of the formation to fight them? Although they were somewhat suspicious, Real God Suffering and Real God One did not say anything. They continued to wait patiently. Meanwhile, Tsing Hui took out the ground-shaking stick again. Circulating his true yuan, he smashed it towards the ground. Rumble. Under the injection of Tsing Hui's dense true yuan, a 100-meter-wide crack appeared in the ground in front of him. An unending stream of vibrating energy spread towards the crack and into the ground, causing the ground to rumble. However, this was only the beginning. As Tsing Hui smashed the ground again and again with the ground-shaking stick, the vibrating energy continued to accumulate underground and rapidly spread towards the Ghost God sect. This caused the ground in the direction of the Ghost God sect to shake visibly. It was as if there was an immemorial ferocious beast rolling and rolling in the depths of the ground. This caused the birds and beasts within 1800 kilometers from Tsing Hui to the Ghost God sect to panic and flee in fear. This is, Real God Suffering and Real God One were both saints. After observing carefully for a moment, they immediately understood what Tsing Hui was doing. At that moment, both of their faces were filled with shock. Sword Master Tsing Hui is trying to destroy the foundation of the Ghost God sect. Unless the Ghost God sect is willing to watch their foundation be destroyed, they have no choice but to come out and fight. Real God One's face was filled with fear. At this moment, he felt extremely fortunate that he had listened to the true God of Tribulation's advice at a crucial moment and led the experts to assist the White Rainbow Sword sect. Otherwise, if Qing Su used this method in the Black Flame sect, how was the Black Flame sect supposed to fend it off? If this method caused the protective formation of the Black Flame sect to collapse by half, at that time, the 3 of them would definitely not be his opponent under the slaughter of a supreme expert like Qing Su. The entire Black Flame sect would face destruction as a result. Chapter 673. In truth, when the vibrations were transmitted to the Divine Ghost sect, the Divine Ghost sect found it strange at first, but they did not pay much attention to it. After all, such vibrations existed from time to time, so it was not worth making a fuss about. However, as time went on, the tremors grew stronger and stronger. It was already enough to shatter some porcelain and glass products, so the Divine Ghost sect immediately began to pay attention to it. As a Golden Core elder led a group of people to discover that Qing Su, true God of suffering, and true God only had appeared outside the Divine Ghost sect, the entire sect rapidly became nervous. The Wheel of Life and Death formation that had originally only been activated but not operated at its maximum capacity was immediately activated to the limit. Many saint disciples and Golden Core elders stepped into the formation as soon as possible to maintain its operation. Even the powerful existences were responsible for guiding the formation, causing it to become a domain of death. Coupled with the constellation God King Calamity Battle, and God King Violence Earthly Violence, let alone the 3 of them, the Divine Ghost sect did not fear them at all even if there were twice or even 3 times as many saints who came. What is Tsing Hui doing? Also, why are suffering true God and only true God of the Black Flame sect with him? Don't they know that Tianqiong is now a lone boat in a storm, in danger of capsizing at any time? Constellation Divine King hovered in the formation, feeling the vibrations that spread out endlessly. His expression was grave. Constellation Divine King, I don't know what that kid is doing, but I'm afraid we can't continue like this. The vibrations are getting stronger and stronger, and it's still accumulating. If we continue to do nothing, when the energy accumulates to a sufficient degree and explodes, the mountains will collapse. Even our Divine Ghost sect's life and death wheel formation will be affected, and most of the buildings, pavilions, and palaces in our sect will collapse. Violence Divine King's expression was ugly. He was the only person in the Divine Ghost sect who knew a little about formations. Although he was not a master, he had seen through Tsing Hui's sinister intentions. You mean? Tsing Hui is using a method to destroy our divine ghost sex life and death will formation from 1,000 kilometers away. He can't completely destroy it, but it's easy to greatly weaken the formation. Violence Divine King said. Damn it. Humph, they only have 3 divine sages on their side. Although Tsing Hui is rumored to be powerful, he is still young. I don't believe that he can be that powerful. Reaching the level of Firmament Master is his limit. The 3 of us will attack together and destroy the thing that caused the earthquake. Then, we will return to the mountain gate as fast as we can. That way, Tsing Hui won't have the guts to chase after us. God King Calamity said. Now that things have come to this, this is the only way. Let Wan Qiqing lead the team and send all the lawful phenomenon of heaven and earth experts into the lawful phenomenon of heaven and earth immediately. They will be responsible for receiving us from 100 kilometers away. Under Constellation Deity King's command, the 3 great saints soared into the sky at the same time. They transformed into flowing lights and charged in the direction of Tsing Hui, real God suffering in real God one. They're here. Sword Master Tsing Hui, the 3 God Kings of the Divine Ghost sect have arrived. Real God suffering sensed the 3 powerful auras approaching quickly and shouted. Finally willing to come out. However, since they're already here, it would be wishful thinking to leave no one behind. If I remember correctly, the one with the weakest divine soul among the 3 God Kings of the Divine Ghost sect is Violence Divine King. That's Violence Divine King. Very good. Real God suffering, real God one, I'll leave Constellation Divine King and Calamity Divine King to you. I don't expect you to defeat the 2 of them, but you have to hold them back. Do you understand? Real God one and Real God suffering compared their strength with Constellation Divine King and Calamity Divine Kings and said without hesitation, all right. We will do our best to hold them back and not let them interfere with you, Swordmaster Tsing Hui. Very good. Tsing Hui controlled the earth-shaking rod in his hand as he looked towards the horizon. Very soon, Constellation Divine King, Violence Divine King and Calamity Divine King appeared at the horizon. The 3 of them looked at Tsing Hui immediately. To be exact, they looked at the earth-shaking rod that Tsing Hui was hitting the ground continuously. Their eyes lit up at once, that's the thing. According to my senses, this thing needs to hit the ground continuously to accumulate enough power of vibration before it explodes in one go. Only then can it cause a destructive attack on the power of the ley lines in the surrounding area and cause a disaster like a landslide. As long as we can interrupt him, it won't take too long, just a dozen breaths' time. The power of vibration will dissipate quickly. By then, he will have to gather the power of vibration again and it will take him half a day's time. When he gathers the power of vibration, we'll disturb him again and again and see what he can do. Alright, there's no time to lose. The 3 of us will attack at the same time and interrupt him. Divine King Calamity Divine King said and pounced towards Tsing Hui quickly. Very good. When Qing Su saw the Constellation Divine King Calamity Divine King, and Divine King Violence Divine King actually charged towards him, he immediately understood their intentions. He directly put the earth-shaking rod away, true God of suffering, true God of one. Understood. The 2 true gods immediately soared into the sky and their territory power exploded. The 2 territories were like 2 stars with a diameter of tens of kilometers. They brazenly collided with the territories of Constellation Divine King and Calamity Divine King. Although the collision between territories was not as intense as a comet colliding with Earth, at the edge of the collision, there were still ripples that could be seen with the naked eye spreading out. At the core of the collision, the territories devoured each other and cancelled each other out. It was even more dangerous. At this moment, if there was some reckless saint cultivator who dared to step into the center of the intersection of the territories, he would definitely be killed by the territories in an instant. You're just a junior. Do you really think that you can challenge a divine just because you have some ability? Violent demons roar. Just as Constellation Divine King and Calamity Divine King were holding back Suffering True God and One True God, Violence Divine King had already pounced down. His territory swept out and he directly turned into a pitch-black and hazy monster in the void. It was as though he was looking at a monster that was half awake yet half awake. The moment he was seen by this monster, the hostility, murderous intent, and fear in the cultivator's heart would all be drawn out. In addition, when the violent demon's roar let out a soundless roar, it formed a sound wave impact that caused Xing Hui's eardrums to hurt. He had the misconception that his brain was about to be torn apart. Sound wave attack. Xing Hui had originally planned to wait for Violence Divine King to get closer before killing him in one strike. However, when he sensed that Violence Divine King's attack was so strange and impossible to guard against, he immediately stopped holding back. While the ultimate sword principle allowed him to possess powerful attack techniques, his defense was greatly weakened. Just like Violence Divine King's violent demon's roar, although the sound wave would affect a divine state expert, after being weakened by the territory power, it would only be some noise when it landed in the ears of a divine state expert. At most, it would weaken the divine state expert's territory power. However, to Xing Hui, before he got too close, the sound wave had already caused Xing Hui's brain to hurt, forcing him to quickly draw his sword. Clang! The deep scarlet sword hummed. A resonant sword hum instantly spread out in the void. It carried a kind of high-spirited aura as it soared into the clouds, suppressing most of the violent demon's roar's sound wave. Chasing light. As the sword roared, Xing Hui's divine ability, Chasing Light, erupted. Body and sword became one, shooting out in an instant. In almost the blink of an eye, he had already traversed over 10 kilometers, ruthlessly crashing into Violence Divine King's territory. Just as Violence Divine King was about to activate his territory power to kill him in shock, the Scarlet Abyss Sword Light had already erupted in full force. It carried with it a blazing and terrifying heat flow, wildly evaporating Violence Divine King's territory at a terrifying speed. Almost at the instant the two clashed, Violence Divine King's territory had already been torn open by at least 10 kilometers. The distance between the two was actually less than half. Such terrifying speed and the terrifying might that tore through the territory like a hot knife through butter immediately caused Violence Divine King, who had planned on suppressing Xing Hui's arrogance, to change his expression. Not good. As the territory power surged wildly, Violence Divine King retreated rapidly. Rumble. Almost at the same time he retreated, the might of Xing Hui's sword immediately descended. It was as if the scorching sun was high in the sky, illuminating the world. Endless radiance instantly shone into Violence Divine King's spiritual world. Many phantoms of gods and demons in Violence Divine King's spiritual world roared in vain as they attempted to resist this resplendent radiance that illuminated all life. However, upon contact, they were instantly evaporated, like snow that was exposed to the scorching sun, instantly melting away. By the time he shook his spiritual world and expelled this resplendent scorching sun from his spiritual world, a scorching heat that was enough to incinerate his body was already less than 100 meters away from him. Seeing the scorching sun rapidly expand in his eyes, Violence Divine King was greatly alarmed. Without hesitation, he raised his chaos level to level 30 and was about to activate the teleportation technique. As for Xing Hui, he felt somewhat regretful when he saw Violence Divine King regain consciousness. In the end, he had attacked a little too early. Even though his sword intent could shake up the spiritual world of a Saint Realm powerhouse and cause them to lose focus for a moment, he needed time to approach his opponent and time to tear apart his territory. If he had used his sword intent after tearing apart his territory, he would have definitely been able to kill him in that moment of distraction. However, if he had used the might of his sword intent before he had broken through his territory, his opponent would have shaken off his sword intent attack and regained consciousness by the time he destroyed his territory. What a pity, as Xing Hui thought to himself, he planned to use the grief-parting realm. Even if he could not kill Violence Divine King, he would have to use the grief-parting realm to disrupt his teleportation technique, trapping him in a layer of space and preventing him from attacking for a short period of time. However, just as he was about to use the grief-parting realm, he suddenly felt an intense sense of danger. At some point, Violence Divine King had actually split into two. One of his clones was entangled with the only true God, while his main body had silently charged behind Xing Hui. He wanted to take advantage of the fact that Xing Hui was completely focused on Violence Divine King to kill him in a single blow. Most importantly of all, in order to ensure that his sneak attack was stealthy and fatal, he did not use the power of his territory. Chapter 674. You're courting death. While in the state of chasing light, Xing Hui's sword was not only faster than usual, but his reaction speed and even the reaction speed of his body had also increased by a large margin. If it were any other divine, it would have been impossible for them to twist their body and block God King Calamity's silent assassination, but Xing Hui, the Scarlet Abyss sword that was originally slashing towards God King Brutality trembled slightly, then turned around at an inconceivable speed. It swept 180 degrees and arrived first, instantly colliding with God King Calamity's assassination, causing dazzling sparks to fly. Not good. Having missed his attack, God King Calamity had comprehended the essence of fleeing 1,000 miles away. His expression changed as he retreated rapidly, about to withdraw. Unfortunately, it was too late. The sword intent that had been refined from the piercing mystic technique instantly crossed the spatial barrier between the two of them. It was like a blazing sun that illuminated the entire world as it crashed into God King Calamity's mental world, burning it into a sea of flames. Ah! Suppress! The intense pain of his soul burning made God King Calamity roar. Powerful mental energy surged out from every corner of his mental world, rapidly obliterating the brilliant sword intent Xing Hui had created in his mental world. But the moment he obliterated the sword intent, an indescribable fear swept through his body from the depths of his soul. In the next moment, the power of burning the heavens and boiling the seas that had been suppressed erupted once again. However, this time, the eruption did not come from the inside of his mental world. Instead, it spread out from his physical body, from the outside to the inside. When God King Calamity was jolted awake by Xing Hui's sword intent, his body had already been pierced through by the Scarlet Abyss sword light. The blazing sun-like flames contained within the Scarlet Abyss sword instantly burned him to ashes. The indescribable feeling of trembling and the blazing heat that swept through his body was the last thing he felt in this world. Calamity. Sensing that God King Calamity was about to kill Xing Hui in the next second, God King Brutality was no longer willing to use his teleportation technique to escape so easily. He seemed to want to pin down Xing Hui with his own body so that he could personally witness the scene of Xing Hui dying to God King Calamity's assassination. However, he never imagined that in just an instant, the situation would suddenly reverse. Xing Hui was actually able to react quickly even when God King Calamity was behind him. Moreover, he inconceivably killed God King Calamity, to the point that he did not even have the chance to use his teleportation technique to escape. Fortunately, even though he was greatly shocked by God King Calamity's death, his countless years of cultivating to the divine realm allowed him to quickly come to his senses. His domain erupted, and a surging domain energy swept out madly. Like a tsunami, it fiercely charged at Xing Hui. Even though Xing Hui immediately activated his sword intent and suppressed God King Brutality's domain energy, God King Brutality still took advantage of the impact of the explosion to quickly pull apart the distance between the two of them. Thinking of Xing Hui's terrifying sword intent, as well as the sword intent that was powerful enough to suppress most of his domain energy, this divine realm powerhouse of the divine ghost sect could no longer muster up the courage to continue fighting Xing Hui. As he retreated, he roared, "Retreat! Retreat! Constellation, retreat! Sovereign!" Xing Hui's battle prowess has definitely reached the level of a sovereign. He's not someone we three ordinary divine realm powerhouses can contend against. Sovereign! God King Constellation's domain energy was currently clashing with True God Calamity's domain energy. Divine ability after divine ability continuously absorbed the power of the domain energy, and then continuously clashed with the divine ability derived from True God Calamity's domain. Domain energy cancelled out domain energy, and divine ability clashed with divine ability. This was the correct way for divine realm powerhouses to fight. Relying on his experience and the assistance of a divine weapon that was a tier higher than True God Calamity's, he had already gained a slight advantage. When he heard God King Brutality's shout, he immediately diverted a portion of his attention to Tsing Hui and God King Brutality. At the same time, he sensed God King Calamity's disappearance, and his expression immediately changed. What's going on? Where's God King Calamity? God King Calamity has already been killed by Tsing Hui. His own attacks can already tear apart our domain energy, and what's even more terrifying is his sword intent. His sword intent completely surpasses any divine realm powerhouse's sword intent. Once our domain is torn apart by him, and we have to face his sword intent head-on, we'll be killed without any resistance. We won't even have the chance to use our teleportation technique. This is definitely the battle prowess of a sovereign. Let's quickly retreat, return to the sect, and use the cycle of life and death to contend with him. God King Brutality said. He no longer cared about God King Constellation, who was still fighting True God Calamity, and flew back to the sect at full speed. Damn it! When he saw the Divine King of Brutality retreat, the Divine King of Constellation no longer cared whether he was telling the truth or not. He could only withdraw from his clash with the True God of Tribulation. Otherwise, once the Divine King of Brutality left, it was impossible for him to be the opponent of the True God of Tribulation, the only true God, and Qing Su. Leave. Hand over your teleportation technique first. Tsing Hui took a step forward. Sword Chi shot out, and the remaining domain energy in front of him was sliced apart by the Sword Chi. The distance between the two of them was rapidly closing. Then, he pressed down with his hand, and the Parting Heaven Domain was unleashed. The Parting Heaven Domain's power instantly overturned everything within a radius of dozens of kilometers. Parting Heaven Domain. Not good. God King Brutality instantly realized Tsing Hui's plan. He then roared, and his domain energy boiled. The aura of Divine Realm surged, and he actually ignored the sword of sunlight that was rapidly approaching him from behind. He blasted out an attack, and in an instant, a hole was created in the Parting Heaven Domain. Stay here. Tsing Hui roared. The sword of sunlight's sword light exploded, and the surging heat instantly engulfed God King Brutality. However, God King Brutality did not even look at the sword light behind him. When the sword of sunlight's sword light struck his body, he had already stepped out of the Parting Heaven Domain. Pfft. Blood spurted out. Even though the ruthless God King was wearing a Tier 12 defensive armor, his body shook violently under the slash of the sunburst sword. He spat out a mouthful of blood, and when the blood was exposed to the air, it began to burn, turning into ashes. But before Tsing Hui's second, third, and fourth sword light could reach him, God King Brutality had already activated his teleportation technique. With a series of spatial ripples, his body was swallowed up by the spatial ripples, and he disappeared without a trace. All that was left was Tsing Hui's second and third sword of sunlight's blazing flames that swept across the void. He actually escaped. Tsing Hui frowned. God King Brutality's alertness was too high. When God King Constellation saw Tsing Hui forcing God King Brutality to the point where he could not even escape with his teleportation technique, he was also shocked. Seeing Tsing Hui's gaze quickly sweeping towards him, he no longer pinned his hopes on his flying speed. He quickly activated his teleportation technique, and with the power of space, he disappeared from the battlefield. He escaped. True God suffering and the only true God looked at the Divine King of Constellation who had also fled. At the same time that they felt pity, they were also shocked by the strength Qing Su had displayed when he fought the Divine King of Violence and Divine King of Calamity. Perhaps suffering true God had put all his energy into fighting God King Constellation, so he did not see the results of the battle between Xing Hui and God King Huaidou and God King Brutality clearly. However, only true God had seen everything from the beginning to the end, including the scene where Xing Hui relied on his sword will to almost kill God King Brutality. He knew that even if his mental strength was higher than the God King of Brutality and God King Calamity, it would only be 1 or 2 levels higher at most. With an advantage of 1 or 2 levels of mental strength, he would be no different from the God King of Brutality and God King Calamity when he faced Qing Su's sword intent. In other words, if Qing Su wanted to kill them, they probably would not even have the chance to activate a teleportation technique to escape unless they maintained 120% mental vigilance and constantly activated the power of their domain. Such a strong threat to ordinary divine saints had even surpassed Venerable Zhu Zhao, Hall Master Xuanji, Samsara Holy Master, and other existences that were only below Emperor Tai Yi, Lord Chaos, and Supreme God Ancient Desolation. My lord, should we continue to use that treasure to cause landslides to destroy the divine ghost sex protective formation, or, only true God came to Tsing Hui's side with a hint of respect and asked for instructions. In reality, with his status as a divine saint, there was no need for him to do so. However, after witnessing Tsing Hui's ferocity in the battle, he could not help but lower himself in front of Tsing Hui. Chase after them. Tsing Hui muttered to himself for a moment and quickly came to a decision. If he continued to use the Earthshaker rod to attack the divine ghost sex protective formation, it would probably take him a day or 2 at the very least before he could completely destroy the divine ghost sect. And during this time, he basically could not stop the Earthshaker rod from striking the ground. The divine ghost sect had already realized this. When the time came, all they needed to do was find a son of chaos with a personal space of the 10th step and take away all of the sect's core items. They would be able to escape without a trace. This was not in line with his original intention of destroying the divine ghost sect to intimidate them. Right now, the divine ghost sect had 2 divine saints. Among them, ruthless God King Huaidou had been injured by his sword of sunlight and had burned his domain origin. It would be good if he could even use half of his strength. The only one who could be said to be at his peak was Constellation God King. And on their side, besides him, they still had suffering true God and only true God, 2 divine saints. Thus, even if the divine ghost sect had a protective formation, so what? With their current strength, they could already force their way through. With this thought, Tsing Hui no longer hesitated. Riding on his sword, he shot through the air like a streak of light. In a dozen breaths' time, he had crossed the less than 2,000 kilometers between himself and the divine ghost sect, even leaving suffering true God and only true God behind. And by the time he arrived at the divine ghost sect, the divine ghost sect's wheel of life and death formation was already in full operation. All of the sect's major powers and astronomical phenomenon of Earth and celestial bodies were within the formation, maintaining its operation. They stared at Tsing Hui, who had appeared outside the protective formation, as if they were facing a great enemy. Chapter 675. That bastard, he actually chased us all the way here. Is he trying to kill us all? Constellation Divine King looked at Tsing Hui, who appeared outside the divine ghost sect's protective array, his face filled with rage. At the same time, his gaze turned towards ruthless Divine King, who had just suppressed the heat in his body. Can you fight? Let's activate all the power of the Wheel of Life and Death and teach him an unforgettable lesson. The ruthless Divine King's expression was rather ugly. He looked at the young figure outside the formation as a sliver of fear appeared in the depths of his eyes. Constellation Divine King, Heaven's azure ruins is definitely not a weakling. With the battle prowess of a supreme expert and the assistance of the true God of suffering and the one true God, he already possesses the power to directly break through our divine ghost sect's protective formation. We better think of a way to ask for help from the divine wilderness, or our divine ghost sect will probably face destruction today. Divine wilderness, Constellation Divine King was somewhat repulsed. Although the Divine Ghost sect had a close relationship with the Divine Wilderness, and it was unclear, they had not completely submitted to the Divine Wilderness. It could only be said that they were very close to the Divine Wilderness. Back then, the Divine Wilderness had given the Divine Ghost sect an innate charm because it wanted to rope them in and have them completely join the big family of the Divine Wilderness. However, last time, the Divine Ghost sect had received benefits, but their request for the Divine Wilderness was still ambiguous. This time, if they were to ask for help from the Divine Wilderness, the Divine Ghost sect would have to truly join the Divine Wilderness. Damn it! Since things have come to this, we can only ask for help from the Divine Wilderness. Constellation Divine King hesitated and struggled for a while before finally giving the order. Then, he turned to Wang Qiqing and said, "Go, contact the people from Divine Wasteland and ask them to send a saint to help us. If Divine Wasteland helps us this time, my Divine Ghost sect will agree to their request last time." "Yes, Divine King." Wang Qiqing respectfully replied and quickly went to contact them. At this moment, Xing Hui, who had been observing the Wheel of Life and Death for a while, made his move without hesitation. The scorching sun hung in the sky. The Scarlet Abyss sword exploded with a dazzling light of the sun. Then, with a thunderous might, it slammed down on a relatively weak point of the Wheel of Life and Death. "Not good. Quick, the two of us will preside over the formation and use it to exhaust his strength. Once his strength is almost exhausted, we'll borrow the power of the formation to fight him." Constellation God King bellowed and immediately rushed into the array formation. His domain power instantly connected with the array formation's weak point. Almost at the instant he channeled the power of his domain into the formation, Xing Hui's thunderous sword slashed down. For a moment it was as if the sun had fallen. Endless light and heat exploded on the surface of the cycle of life and death formation, forming an extremely terrifying shock wave. The shock wave compressed the atmosphere, causing a large amount of electromagnetic energy to be released from the friction between the atmosphere, causing the weather within a radius of several dozen kilometers to change drastically. Outside the gates of gods and devils, which had been clear for thousands of kilometers, lightning flashed, thunder rumbled, and strong winds howled. It was as if the end of the world had arrived. But, it was only outside the gates of gods and devils. As a 12th level formation, the cycle of life and death formation was presided over by Constellation God King, a saint expert. The power of Xing Hui's sunburst sword was almost completely blocked outside the gates of gods and devils. Although it wreaked havoc outside, it created an apocalyptic scene. But inside the cycle of life and death formation, other than a few violent rumbles, it did not cause any substantial damage to the interior. As expected, I guessed correctly. The mysterious expert who infiltrated our gates of gods and devils and captured Wang Qiqing was this Xing Hui. Constellation God King looked at the surging power of the formation, his eyes so furious that it seemed like they could spit fire. "Humph, Celestial Dome is truly incredible. First, there was Zhu Zhao, and now there's a supreme expert like Xing Hui. If you were given time to develop, your future accomplishments would be limitless. But unfortunately, you probably won't have the chance to survive this calamity. As long as our gates of gods and devils can hold out, once Tao's sovereign primal chaos cleans up the upper echelons of your alliance, the Rainbow Sword Sect, and the Sword Shadow Sect, only destruction awaits your celestial dome." As Constellation God King spoke, he controlled the formation to block Xing Hui's attack. But soon, his expression changed slightly. Xing Hui, who had not been able to do anything to the Wheel of Life and Death formation, used his aura divination technique, his gaze constantly wandering around the formation. Even though he was not proficient in the art of formations, he could rely on the aura divination technique to clearly see the characteristics of the energy flow of the formation. He was able to immediately sense the points of intersection formed by the formation's operation. Every time the energy converged, he was able to land his attacks on these points of intersection. Under such attacks, in just a few moments, the Wheel of Life and Death formation's operation had clearly become rusty. Even though Constellation God King was constantly trying to fix the formation's shortcomings, he was still unable to do so. It's about time. Break for me. Xing Hui slashed out more than 40 sunburst swords in a single breath. After suppressing the Wheel of Life and Death formation's operation speed to the limit, he brazenly activated Chasing Light. In the next moment, the scarlet sword in his hand seemed to transform into a dazzling sword shadow. Intense light carried with it surging heat waves as it bombarded the Wheel of Life and Death formation like a storm. Not good. Constellation God King sensed the abnormality in the formation and his expression changed. He immediately appeared at the spot where Xing Hui had attacked. The power of his domain surged out and immediately connected with the formation. Unfortunately, the power of the Wheel of Life and Death formation was now much weaker than when it was at its peak. Xing Hui's first sunburst sword had already caused the Wheel of Life and Death formation to constantly tremble. When his second and third sunburst sword descended, the blazing flames and surging light tore through the barrier of the Wheel of Life and Death formation for the first time, illuminating the interior of the formation. Accompanied by a wave of shrill cries, the 100+ True Energy Realm, Transformative Realm, Endless Realm, and even the 3 Golden Core Realm experts who just happened to be in charge of the formation were directly incinerated into ashes by the penetrating flame energy, dying on the spot. My domain has actually been penetrated. Quick, gather all the power of the formation. Constellation God King roared. All the Saint Boundary experts in the formation immediately poured their true energy into the formation. Unfortunately, under Xing Hui's attacks, the Wheel of Life and Death formation had already become extremely rusty. The efficiency of the energy circulation had decreased by a large margin. Before this energy could be poured into the torn formation, Xing Hui's 4th and 5th sunburst sword had already arrived. The blazing sword light tore apart the Constellation God King's domain like it was rotten wood. The remaining sword light split into tens of thousands of tiny strands of sword chi. Like a frenzied metal storm, they howled as they shot toward the true energy boundary, transformative boundary, endless boundary, golden core boundary experts, and even the mighty experts within a 30-kilometer radius. Chi! 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 Ah! The sound of bodies being penetrated and the screams that rang out within a 30-kilometer radius rose and fell. They constantly filled the gap in the formation. Under the sword chi, over 1,000 Saint Boundary cultivators were killed by the sword chi. Some of the weaker ones were even incinerated into ashes by the blazing power contained in the sword chi. They did not even have the chance to be revived. The 3 mighty experts who happened to be in the area all used their divine abilities to clash with Xing Hui's sword chi. One of them was penetrated by the sword chi, and he screamed as he retreated from the battlefield. Most importantly, as the Divine Ghost Sect cultivators in the Wheel of Life and Death formation were all killed by Xing Hui's sword chi, a gap seemed to have been torn open in the light screen that enveloped the Divine Ghost Sect. It was immediately exposed. Suffering True God, One True God, the 2 of you control the operation of the formation. Don't let the power of the Wheel of Life and Death formation repair this gap. At the same time, use all your strength to restrain the power of the Wheel of Life and Death formation. Xing Hui roared and immediately charged into the Divine Ghost Sect. Yes. On the other hand, Suffering True God and One True God shouted excitedly. They immediately appeared at the gap that Xing Hui had torn open in the Wheel of Life and Death formation. Their bodies trembled slightly. The Divine Ghost Sect was a powerful organization that did not pale in comparison to the Black Flame cult, yet right now, such a powerful organization was actually in danger of being destroyed under the might of the Green Ruins Swordmaster alone. The 2 of them immediately felt a sense of glory when they saw this. Xing Hui. Do you really want to wipe out the Divine Ghost Sect? Divine King Constellation roared furiously. He tried his best to resonate with the Wheel of Life and Death formation with his territory power, then swept towards Xing Hui in an attempt to block Xing Hui's invasion. The war was started by the Divine Ghost Sect. Since you dare to provoke the Heaven Dome sect, you naturally have to pay the price for your actions. If the Divine Ghost sect breaks through the Heaven Dome sect that only has one sword wielder, I believe the Divine Ghost sect will not show mercy. If that's the case, what else do you have to say? Accept the judgment of the Heaven Dome sect. Tsing Hui roared and the Scarlet Abyss sword shot out flowing light. It swept up a brilliant light and slashed down. Even though the Divine King Constellation's territory was supported by part of the Wheel of Life and Death formation, it was still unavoidable that it was torn apart by his sword. A vacuum with a diameter of 100 meters appeared. Before the Divine King Constellation could restore the vacuum with more territory power, Tsing Hui's second and third slashes followed closely behind. Intense flames mixed with energy shockwaves that could be seen with the naked eye spread wildly. Half of the Divine King Constellation's territory was torn apart. Tsing Hui himself was enough to bring him into the attack range. Divine King Constellation, be careful. Seeing this, the Divine King of Brutality ignored his own injuries. His territory origin wildly burned and swept toward Tsing Hui. Where's the Divine Wilderness? Why haven't they arrived yet? The Divine Wilderness says Tsing Hui is tyrannical. They need at least 5 sages to be able to resist him. They need us to hold on for 6 more hours. 6 hours. The Divine King of Constellation's eyes widened. He stared at Tsing Hui, who was like a true sun god descending with dazzling sword light. His eyes were filled with despair. Let alone 6 hours, even if it was just an hour, the Divine Ghost sect might not be able to hold on. It's over. It's over. Our Divine Ghost sect is finished. Divine King Constellation, our Divine Ghost sect's Voidwalker Yuan Lai's personal space has already reached the 8th level. He only needs to rush up 2 levels to reach the 10th level. Take our Divine Ghost sect's Hope, Seed, and Voidwalker Yuan Lai and quickly retreat. Tsing Hui, I will stop him. The Divine King of Brutality's eyes were filled with grief and determination. Divine King Brutality, the Divine King of Constellation's eyes were filled with pain. However, looking at the undefeatable Tsing Hui, he had no choice but to accept the reality before him. I swear right here that one day, I will kill my way up to the heavens and avenge you. The Divine King of Constellation cursed with hatred. His resentment almost shot up into the clouds. After saying that, he turned around and flew into the Divine Ghost sect. The Divine King of Brutality's eyes were filled with ferocity. He stared at Tsing Hui fiercely, let me see just how big the gap between me and an utmost powerful being is. Source Point Disintegration Technique. Casting the forbidden technique, the Divine King of Brutality's territory origin shattered, turning into a mighty territory torrent that filled every corner of his territory. Chapter 676. Ruthless Earth God King had destroyed his own origin of realm in exchange for a vast amount of realm power. However, he was unable to turn the situation around. Without the origin of his domain, his power of domain immediately became ruthless. Even though he was able to put up a fight against Qing Su in the beginning and end up in a stalemate, as time went on, his power of domain decreased and he lost the upper hand in the end. Once most of the power of his domain had been consumed, he was no longer Qing Su's opponent. He was burnt to a crisp by the scorching flames of the Sword of Sunlight. However, Ruthless Earth God King's sacrifice was worth it. He had bought nearly 30 breaths of time for the Divine Ghost Gate, and in this time, the Constellation God King had already taken the core items of the Divine Ghost Gate, as well as the most talented disciples and mighty figures, into the personal space of the Voidwalker, Yuan Lai. He then had Yuan Lai activate a teleportation technique and leave the Divine Ghost Gate. When Tsing Hui killed Ruthless Earth God King, there were only a bunch of small fries left in Divine Ghost Sect, with the highest being in Golden Elixir Realm. At this moment, many Almighties and Golden Elixir Realm Elders from Black Flame Sect had finally arrived. Tsing Hui ordered without hesitation, kill your way in. Divine Ghost Sect has provoked the alliance of Heaven Vault Sect, White Rainbow Sword Sect, Sword Shadow Sect and Black Flame Sect. They have to pay the price. Today, Divine Ghost Sect will be destroyed. Yes. The Almighties and Golden Elixir Realm Elders from Black Flame Sect who had received the order shouted excitedly. They quickly charged towards the disciples, elders and attendants of Divine Ghost Sect who had lost the protection of Almighties. In an instant, the Divine Ghost Sect was drowned in cries and blood. Divine Ghost Sect is finished. Suffering True God and Only True God looked at the Guardian Kings and Elders from Black Flame Sect who had charged into Divine Ghost Sect and started a massacre. They could not help but sigh. Divine Ghost Sect was on par with Black Flame Sect. Now, Tsing Hui had broken through their mountain gate and their protective formation. He had killed his way into the mountain gate and leveled the entire mountain gate. Even though there was still a Constellation Divine King left, a Divine Realm expert who had lost the mountain gate's protection could be killed by Tsing Hui if he wanted to. It could be said that Divine Ghost Sect had no chance of making a comeback. Looking at the Divine Ghost Sect's end, Real God Suffering and Real God Only were shocked. At the same time, they were extremely glad. If the Black Flame Sect had not made the right choice at the crucial moment, the Divine Ghost Sect would have ended up like the Black Flame Sect. Tsing Hui glanced at Divine Ghost Sect. Even though Divine Ghost Sect had been leveled by him, the valuable items were taken away by the Constellation Divine King. Even though the remaining items were valuable, they were nothing to Tsing Hui. He said, "Collect the spoils of war from Divine Ghost Sect. 30% will belong to Black Flame Sect. As for the rest, send it to Qinxiong. Is that okay?" "No, no." Suffering True God said quickly. Only True God said embarrassedly, "In actual fact, we did not play any role in the entire war. Isn't 30% too much? It's okay. Since Black Flame Sect contributed, they should naturally get what they deserve." Afterwards, he looked at the True God of Suffering and the True God of Salvation, "Give the orders and leave with me. With the two of you, we've basically gathered all the saints on our side. Next, we should try and see if we can rip open the chaotic origin world of the celestial chaos. Holy Exalt and save the Reverend Zhuzhao, the Reverend Heaven, the Reverend Baihang, the Reverend Long Rainbow, the Shadow Sword, and so on. Tear apart Chaos Holy Man's chaotic origin realm." The Suffering True God and the One True God were slightly taken aback. As veteran Saint Realm experts of the Heaven Wasteland world, they obviously knew how tough the Primal Chaos Realm was. Back when the Primal Chaos Holy Man was still at the first layer of the Saint Realm, he had once used the Primal Chaos Realm to trap 14 saints for a day. Now that the Primal Chaos Holy Man had broken through to the Void Transformation Realm, the Primal Chaos Realm's ability to withstand attacks had increased by several levels. Let alone the fact that the Primal Chaos Holy Man only had the Qing Su Sword Master and the Shadow-bearing Sword Master on their side. Even if the remaining 9 experts worked together, they might not necessarily be able to rip the Primal Chaos Realm apart. Sword Master Tsing Hui, with our abilities, it's still not enough to tear apart Chaos Origin Realm, right? If we want to tear apart Chaos Origin Realm by force, it's not enough. But what if we use Paradise Divine Stone? Paradise Divine Stone. Suffering True God suddenly understood Tsing Hui and the rest's plan. His eyes lit up. "If we have enough Paradise Divine Stone, there's a great chance. Alright, let your people from Black Flame Sect search as soon as possible. Destroy those that you can't take away. We'll head to Rainbow Sword Sect in 2 hours." Tsing Hui said. "Yes." Suffering True God and Only True God quickly replied. Following the orders of the 2 true gods, the elders and almighties who were originally elites of Black Flame Sect immediately started to plunder crazily in God Ghost Sect. Just like Tsing Hui's orders, they destroyed those that they couldn't take away. In an instant, shocking energy fluctuations and blazing flames rose in God Ghost Sect. After 2 hours, the entire God Ghost Sect was almost drowned in blazing flames. The billowing smoke turned into a black pillar under the burning flames, shooting straight up into the sky. Even from hundreds of kilometers away, it could be seen clearly. In God Ghost Sect, there were naturally spies from other forces. However, following the destruction of God Ghost Sect, these spies were naturally destroyed along with God Ghost Sect. However, before they died, they spread the news. It was foreseeable that the destruction of God Ghost Sect would cause a great shock in the entire divine wilderness. However, this was naturally what Xing Hui wanted to see. The divine ghost sect thought that the experts of Tianxiong were trapped by the Chaos Holy Venerate and dared to take advantage of the situation, so he used the same method he used to destroy the divine ghost sect. He wanted everyone to understand that even if the Master Zhu Zhao, Master Tianxiong, Sword Master Bai Heng, Sword Master Long Rainbow, Sword Master Yuang, and so on were all trapped by the Chaos Holy Venerate, Tianxiong still could not be humiliated by any organization as long as he, Qing Su, existed. Otherwise, the divine ghost sect would be their lesson. After ordering the people of Black Flame sect to plunder God Ghost Sect, he set off again with Suffering True God, Only True God and the rest, flying towards Rainbow Sword Sect. Before reaching Rainbow Sword Sect, Xing Hui had already received messages from Master Zhengzhen, Master Pengguang, Master Shadow Bearing, Master Xingyi, and the rest in Chaos Temple. When Xing Hui appeared in Chaos Temple, these people immediately swarmed up and surrounded him. They all laughed and said, "Good, good. Master Xing Hui, you are really surprising. I originally thought that you were going to God Ghost Sect to teach them a lesson and kill one or two of their experts who were guarding the resource points in the outside world. I didn't expect you to break through the mountain gate of God Ghost Sect and kill Ruthless Earth and Huado. Even the mountain gate of God Ghost Sect was burned down by you. This battle is enough to let the entire divine wilderness understand the power of our three-sect alliance. Anyone who dares to challenge our three-sect alliance will have to pay the price in blood. It's not the three-sect alliance, it should be the four-sect alliance now," Xing Hui said with a smile. At the same time, he told them about how he met Suffering True God, Only True God and the rest, as well as how the two true gods helped him break through God Ghost Sect. Suffering and Soul Divinity, these two divinities are rather decisive. Fortunately, they immediately took a stand and joined our three-sect alliance. Otherwise, today's divine ghost sect would have ended up like their Black Flame sect. Master Pengguang thought about how he had sent people to ask for help from Black Flame sect and snorted coldly. You've managed to destroy a sect with a protective formation. Sword Master Qing Su, you really do amaze the world with a single feat. Even I was unable to forcefully infiltrate the God and Devil sect and kill the saints of their sect when their cycle of life and death formation was activated. From today's battle, I can see that not only do you possess the strength of a sovereign, but you probably rank towards the top even among sovereigns. You're an existence on par with esteemed Zhu Zhao, Hall Master Xuanji, and the Samsara Lord at the very least. Master Qingying said sincerely. Among the 10 absolute experts of the divine wilderness, Hundun Holy Man, Tai Emperor and the ancient barons Holy Master were all in the second level of the Saint Realm, Paradise stage. They were all unbelievably powerful. The remaining 3 were Master Zhu Zhao, Hall Master Xian Ji and Samsara Holy Master. After these 3 were on the absolute experts list, their positions were impregnable and no one could shake them. After these 3 were the Sun Moon Divine King, Master Qingying, Holy Master Gui and the Jade Emperor Holy Man. However, although these 4 were absolute experts, they belonged to the weakest level of the absolute experts. If people like the Sky-Splitting Holy Master were fully prepared, they might be able to shake their positions. If 4 or 5 ordinary true gods were to join forces against one of them, they might even be able to defeat them. Take the Master Qingying for example. If the Lihan Holy Man, Wuxia Holy Man and the Styx River Holy Man, who were proficient in domain-type techniques were to join forces, they would be able to hold their own against the Master Qingying even without the addition of the Anisrava Holy Man. If the Anisrava Holy Man were to join forces, the Master Qingying would have to retreat and avoid him. After the battle at the Divine Ghost Sect, no one from our firmament, Sword Shadow, or Rainbow Sword Sect will dare to provoke us in the near future. As for the Divine Wilderness and Eternal, they can't wait for us to fight the Heavenly Tao until both sides suffer, so they won't easily provoke us. What we need to do next is to rescue Reverend Zhu Zhao, Venerable Firmament, Sword Master Baihang, Sword Master Long Rainbow, and Sword Master Umbra as soon as possible. Only after rescuing them will we have the hope of truly resisting the Heavenly Tao, or even defeating it. Tsing Hui said. Don't worry, we have already gathered the Heavenly Abode stones. Now, we are just waiting for you, the suffering true God and the one true God. Once all of you are here, we will try and see if we can tear the chaotic dimension apart. I believe that we will succeed. It's time for the Heavenly Tao to disperse the dark clouds that have been covering our heads. Tsing Hui nodded his head. Chapter 677. As Tsing Hui sped towards the Rainbow Sword Sect, the news of the destruction of the Divine Ghost Sect had spread to every major force in the Divine Wilderness. Those forces that were stronger than the Divine Ghost Sect were better off, but those that were weaker than the Divine Ghost Sect were all silent. Some of the forces that were connected to the Rainbow Sword Sect and the Celestial Dome Sect immediately retreated hundreds to thousands of kilometers to show their attitude. Some of them even tried to contact the Celestial Dome Sect immediately after receiving the news, hoping to join the Celestial Dome Sect, the Rainbow Sword Sect, the Sword Shadow Sect, and the Black Flame Sect. Anyone could see that as long as the four-sect alliance could destroy the Chaos Origin realm of the Chaos Holy Man and allow Master Zhu Zhao and the others to escape, they would immediately become a colossus that could stand shoulder to shoulder with the Celestial Dome Sect, the Divine Wilderness, and the Eternal Realm. Compared to those weak forces that were silent, the Eternal Realm and the Divine Wilderness, whose positions were threatened, immediately called for a meeting. There were 9 emperors in the Eternity, but Emperor Tai Yi, who ranked first among the 9 emperors, was currently in seclusion. He was racing against time to step into the vacuum-shattering realm while the Chaos Holy Man wanted to surpass the Chaos Holy Man when he came out of seclusion to deal with the Heavenly Axiom, so he could avoid the threat from the Heavenly Axiom. The second was the brilliant Sun Emperor who went to the Comely continent not long ago. This emperor was forced by the Qing Su to use the art of teleportation under the interference of the Lihan Heaven realm. Unless he had great luck, it was impossible for him to return in such a short time. In addition to the Black Light Emperor who was also teleported to the space mezzanine by the art of teleportation, the remaining 6 emperors, including the 4 experts of the Saint Realm from the Illuminating World sect, were less than 10 people. Among the 10 great saints, there were only 2 people in the second tier, and the remaining 8 were ordinary saints. Not to mention suppressing the Celestial Dome sect, the Sword Shadow sect, the Rainbow Sword sect, and the Black Flame sect, they could not even fight against the 2 supreme experts, Tsing Hui and the Shadow-bearing Sword Master. Therefore, the many saints in the Chaos Temple discussed and decided to postpone all attacks on the 4-sect alliance until the outcome of the battle between the Celestial Dome sect and the Celestial Dome sect was decided. On the other side, the Divine Wilderness made a similar choice as Eternity. Even though Constellation God King had brought the remnants of the Divine Ghost sect to the Divine Wilderness, weeping blood as he accused Sky Tsing Hui, suffering true God, and only true God of all sorts of atrocities, without any clear instructions from Emperor Tai Yi, the other emperors of Eternity were also stalling. Everything would have to wait until the outcome of the battle between the 4-sect alliance and the Heavenly Tao was decided. Once the outcome of the battle was decided, it would be the time for the Eternal and Divine Wilderness realms to completely devour and expel the 2 powerful forces that threatened them. Sword Master Tsing Hui. Sword Master Tsing Hui is here. Ha ha ha, Sword Master Tsing Hui, please take a seat. When Qing Su's group truly set foot in the Fogbow Sword sect, all the great figures of the sect, from the Sword Master of Pengguang who possessed the highest status and seniority to the Flying Fish Sword Saint, Ji Xian Sword Saint, and so on, came out to receive them as soon as possible. Qing Su glanced past them one by one. Not only did he see the Mist Wisdom Sword Saint, but he also saw the final sainthood powerhouse of Sword Shadow, the Profound Comprehension Sword Master. The two of them, coupled with the Luminous Light Sword Master, the Xingyi Sword Master, the Shadow-Bearing Sword Master, Qing Su himself, as well as the Suffering True God and the One True God who had come as reinforcements, there were a shocking 8 sainthood powerhouses. Have the arrangements been made at Sky Sword Sect? Tsing Hui asked Venerable Tsang Zhen, who had also rushed to the Fogbow Sword Sect. The arrangements are almost done. Venerable Yuan Ri will be in charge of the Sky Dome base. However, I've already brought some of the most precious resources with me. Even if some ignorant force comes to our Sky Dome base at this time and destroys it, the losses caused will be within the range that we can bear. Venerable Tsang Zhen said with a smile. Heh, I believe that at this critical moment, there won't be any faction that dares to have any ideas about Sky Sword Sect. Otherwise, the God Ghost Sect will serve as a warning to them. Sword Shadow's Profound Comprehension Sword Master said with a smile. That's right. The God Ghost Sect is an ancient sect that has existed for more than 4,000 years. At its peak, it had 5 great sages. In terms of historical glory, the 1 hall, 3 sects, 6 religions, and 9 gates cannot be compared to them. However, such an ancient and powerful sect was trampled to pieces by Sword Master Tsing Hui's divine might alone. Their magnificent mountain gate was burned to the ground, and 2 of the 3 great sages perished. Only 1 constellation godly king was left alive and fled to the divine wilderness. With this lesson in mind, from today onwards, any faction that wants to have any ideas about the heavenly Tao will have to carefully consider if they can bear the consequences of Sword Master Tsing Hui's wrath. Sword Master Peng Guang was also in a good mood. Sword Master Peng Guang is too kind. Tsing Hui gave a slight nod of his head. On Sky Sword Sect's side, besides Venerable Tsang Zhen, there were also Yulan, Reverend Wufa, Reverend Purple Sky, and other powerful experts accompanying them. Seeing that Tsing Hui was still a core member of the Saint Realm powerhouses, these powerful experts who had some simple interactions with Tsing Hui were filled with emotion. Not too long ago, Tsing Hui had still been a Saint Realm junior in front of them, but while they were distracted, this junior that they had only noticed because of Reverend Zhu Zhao had grown to a level that was not inferior to them. And before they could process the change in Tsing Hui's status, he had already left them far behind and leapt to become a supreme divine that stood at the peak of the world. This change, it was simply overwhelming, and they could not help but feel that the affairs of the world were unpredictable. We already have 8 great saints on our side, but we have 9 Grotto Heaven divine stones. It's best to gather another Saint Realm powerhouse. With 1 more, there'll be more hope. After all, if we can't tear the Chaos Primordial Realm apart this time, I'm afraid we won't know when we'll be able to gather 9 Grotto Heaven divine stones again. At this moment, Sword Master Chengying, who was among the crowd, said solemnly. Find another Saint Realm powerhouse. When everyone heard this, their gazes could not help but fall on True God Suffering and True God Only from Black Flame Sect. Currently, among the 4 sect alliances, the only force that still had a Saint Realm powerhouse was Black Flame Sect. However, they did not say anything. After all, having a Saint Realm powerhouse in the mountain guarding formation and without one were 2 completely different concepts. With a Saint Realm powerhouse, even if there was only one, the enemy would still need 4 or 5 Saint Realm experts to expend a great amount of energy to break the mountain guarding formation of Black Flame Sect. However, if there was no Saint Realm powerhouse in the mountain guarding formation of Black Flame Sect, 1 or 2 saints would be enough to completely tear Black Flame Sect's mountain gate apart. Hence, if they really let the last Saint Realm powerhouse of Black Flame Sect appear, it would be equivalent to asking Black Flame Sect to risk giving up their mountain gate to provide assistance. They really did not know how to make such an excessive request. True God Only and True God Suffering sensed everyone's gazes and understood that it was time for Black Flame Sect to express their attitude and make a choice. After hesitating for a while, they finally gritted their teeth and said, "I'll go and contact True God's Savior now and ask him to hurry over. Then, we'll have to trouble True God's suffering." Xing Hui stepped forward and said in a deep voice. However, before True God only could contact True God's Savior, Yulan seemed to have received some news and quickly stepped forward. "Venerable Master, Venerable Yuanri just sent news that the Grand Emperor Dao Master has appeared outside our Heaven Dome sect's encampment. Currently, he's only spying on us and hasn't made his next move." The Grand Emperor Dao Master. They really dare to come? How dare they? A trace of anger flashed across Venerable Master Tsongjin's eyes. At the same time, the soothing sound Sword Saint also received news from outside the sect. "Our disciples also reported that Heaven Dao's Blood Plate Dao Lord has appeared 4,000 kilometers away." Blood Plate Dao Lord? The one who's ranked third among the Heaven Dao's 36 Dao Lords and has cultivated an undying body? Sword Master Pengguang frowned slightly. At this moment, True God Suffering smiled bitterly and said, "We also received news from Black Flame sect. Someone from Heaven Dao has appeared outside our Black Flame sect's mountain gate." Sword Master Pengguang, Sword Master Profound Comprehension, Sword Master Xingyi, Sword Master Shadow Bearing, and the others looked at each other, and the atmosphere became slightly heavy. "It seems like Heaven Dao's people have seen through our plan. If we leave en masse, Heaven Dao's people will definitely obstruct us. Our White Rainbow Sword sect is slightly better as it's only 6,000 kilometers away. If something really happens, they can still hold on until we arrive in time. However, if it's Black Flame sect and Heaven Dome sect, I'm afraid their mountain gates will be quickly breached." Xing Hui couldn't help but fall silent for a moment. He couldn't possibly ask Black Flame sect to abandon their own mountain gate and come out in full force to assist him. That would be too much. Why don't I try? At this moment, a voice suddenly came from the crowd. As Xing Hui looked toward the voice, he was slightly stunned. "Hidden Sword Master. Sword Master, why are you here? Now that you're in such a big trouble, how can I just stand by and watch?" Hidden Sword Master smiled faintly. When the other sages saw Hidden Sword Master speaking at this moment, they couldn't help but frown slightly. They were studying how to use the heavenly stone to create a blow that could shatter the vacuum. Hidden Sword Master was just a law embodiment of heaven and earth. He didn't have a level 17 god weapon like Sword Saint Lan Rui. However, True God Suffering, who had previously fought with Hidden Sword Master, had his eyes quickly lit up after hearing Hidden Sword Master's words. "That's right. Hidden Sword Master, we still have Hidden Sword Master with us. Hidden Sword Master's sword skills are shocking and his power is strong enough to rival that of a divine being. In fact, the power of his sword skills is even stronger than that of a normal divine being. Anyway, we only want to attack the Chaos Origin realm and don't have too many requirements in other aspects. Hidden Sword Master's peerless sword skills completely meet the standards of the 9th divine being." Sword Master Xingyi, Sword Master Shadow Bearing, Sword Master Profound Comprehension, Sword Master Pengguang, and the others heard True God Suffering's words and looked back and forth between True God Suffering and Hidden Sword Master in surprise. "True God Suffering, is what you said true? Hidden Sword Master's sword skills are not inferior to that of a divine being. Does he have a level 17 God sword? There's no need for a level 17 God sword. Back then, due to some misunderstandings, I once fought with Hidden Sword Master. Hidden Sword Master's attack is definitely at the level of a divine being. He's even slightly stronger than a normal divine being." True God Suffering said confidently. Xing Hui, who was beside him, also nodded heavily. He knew the power of the ultimate sword principle and did not doubt Hidden Sword Master at all. "I can also guarantee that Hidden Sword Master is qualified to be the 9th divine being." When the other sword masters saw that Xing Hui and True God Suffering approved of Hidden Sword Master at the same time, they also knew that Xing Hui would not joke about such an important occasion. They immediately made a decision. If that's the case, let's not waste any time. We'll set off now. With the combined power of the 9 of us, we'll use the power of the heavenly cave divine stone to shatter the chaos origin realm and save Zhuzhao, Baiheng, Yuing, Tsangqiong, and Changhong. Chapter 678. Karma Peak. The primal chaos realm formed by the primal chaos holy man was still suspended in the air above Karma Peak. Balls of grayish-black primal chaos vital energy were continuously spreading from this primal chaos realm, emitting a terrifying and oppressive aura. The entire primal chaos realm had already separated itself from the divine wilderness world, and was equivalent to a subsidiary world attached to the divine wilderness world. Even though it only had a diameter of a few hundred kilometers, its internal space was definitely vast and boundless. It was possible to say that it was thousands of kilometers, or even tens of thousands of kilometers. In such a long distance, even if the divine saints within the primal chaos realm continuously unleashed their most destructive moves, they would still be digested and devoured by the primal chaos realm. Therefore, it was many times more difficult to tear apart the primal chaos realm from the inside than from the outside. Xing Hui and company exited the Rainbow Sword sect and quickly arrived at the Karma Peak. However, before they could gather their strength to tear apart the primal chaos realm, a few figures had already appeared in the void and wandered around the periphery of Karma Peak. It's the Heavenly Lord Wuqing, the Styx River Holy Man, the Heavenly Lord Shangshan, and the Formless Holy Man. Looking at the 4 figures, the Pengguang Swordmaster's expression changed. How dare they appear in front of us? What, are they trying to interfere when we're trying our best to tear apart the primal chaos realm? The Xingyi Swordmaster was a little angry. I'll go and take care of them, the shadow-bearing Swordmaster said, and was about to go. It's useless. The Pengguang Swordmaster looked at the 4 figures and his expression turned ugly. Look at their figures, their positions are constantly changing. If I'm not wrong, this should be the ultimate treasure of the Divine Path sect, the Wuji Mirror, in action. The Wuji Mirror has reached the 17th level, and it doesn't have any special effects. However, it can allow those who have formed a contract with the Wuji Mirror to constantly change their position within the range of the Wuji Mirror. Allow those who have formed a contract with the Wuji Mirror to change their position within the range of the Wuji Mirror. Xing Hui's expression changed slightly. Are there any restrictions on changing positions? How wide is the everlasting mirror? There are restrictions, but they aren't big. Every time you change your position, you have to re-establish a contract with the everlasting mirror. As for the range of the everlasting mirror, it depends on how much energy is injected into the everlasting mirror. If thousands upon thousands of Golden Core Realm experts were to inject energy into the everlasting mirror, then the range of the everlasting mirror would reach tens of thousands, or even close to 100,000 kilometers. 100,000 kilometers. Didn't that mean they were going straight to the Divine Tao sect? The Divine Tao sect is only 80,000 kilometers away from here. There's no need to directly teleport them to the Divine Tao sect, because the Divine Tao sect has dust-repelling stones. The dust-repelling stones will interfere with this kind of teleportation. However, the location where they've summoned the everlasting mirror is definitely not far from the Divine Tao sect. This way, it'll be convenient for them to retreat to the Divine Tao sect's protective formation at any time. As a result, even if we wanted to destroy the everlasting mirror first, we'd be powerless. The dust-leaving stone can interfere with this kind of transmission. Xing Hui's heart stirred. If we place enough dust-cleansing stones on Karma Peak, will there be an effect? We can try. However, if we want to affect a radius of several hundred kilometers, I'm afraid there will need to be enough dust-cleansing stones. Xing Hui furrowed his brows. Enough, he had quite a number of dust-cleansing stones on him. If he was willing to run to the Conli continent again, he might be able to gather enough dust-cleansing stones to interfere with the teleportation within a radius of several hundred kilometers. However, he was afraid that after blocking the interference of the everlasting mirror, they would think of other ways, passive defense was not desirable, he had to teach them an unforgettable lesson. As he thought of this, Tsing Hui's expression turned cold instantly. His gaze landed on his chaos grade at the first instant. It was only a 600-year-old Tao item. Heavenly Lord Wuqing, Styx River Holy Man, Heavenly Lord Shangshan, Colorless Holy Man. Among these few people, the one who poses the greatest threat is the Heavenly Lord Wuqing. Furthermore, to me, the one who's most restrained is the Heavenly Lord Wuqing. In the next moment, the hundreds of Tao-bearing treasures on him were incinerated. His chaos level, which had stopped at the 59th level, quickly broke through the 60th level as the Tao-bearing treasures absorbed it. Moreover, after the 60th level opened the dimensional lock, his chaos level charged to the 61st, 62nd, 63rd, and 64th level. The dimensional lock also rose from the first level to the 5th level, directly undergoing its first mutation. Indeed, it's exactly as I predicted. The mutation that occurred when the dimensional lock reached level 5 is that it can choose the time to activate the dimensional lock. Tsing Hui's gaze landed on the Heavenly Lord Wuqing, Styx River Holy Man, Heavenly Lord Shangshan, Colorless Holy Man and the rest. The few of you, be careful. I'll deal with one of them first. If everything goes well, I'll destroy the everlasting mirror. Deal with them. The sword master of the Chengying sword was stunned. How? The everlasting mirror can allow them to change their position at will. This is equivalent to them having a temporary teleportation spell. If it was in the past, Tsing Hui, you could use your sword mind to shake their souls and have the hope of capturing and killing them. However, they are already well prepared against your sword mind attack. If you want to use your sword mind to destroy their souls and then kill them, I'm afraid you won't be able to do it. I have my ways. Wait for me for a while. It won't take more than a few hours. Tsing Hui laughed. After that, he turned around and flew towards the Heavenly Lord Wuqing. As he saw Tsing Hui flying towards him, the Heavenly Lord Wuqing's expression changed slightly. However, he only gritted his teeth and retreated. He wanted to increase the distance between himself and Tsing Hui as much as possible. At the same time, he used this method to stall for time. Before they came up with this strategy, they were already prepared to fight for a long time. In terms of resources and expenditure, they believed that the Heavenly Way and the Divine Path sect were above the four-sect alliance. Heavenly Lord Wuqing, be careful. Try to stall for time as much as possible. The Anisrava Holy Man is currently in the process of recovering. If he is fast, he will take a few days. If he is slow, he will be able to recover completely. When that happens, he will research and set up a formation that doesn't require the power of the ley lines. As long as it doesn't require the power of the ley lines, Tsing Hui won't be able to do anything to him. When that happens, the battlefield will still belong to us. The voice of the Styx River Holy Man came from afar and echoed in the mind of the Heavenly Lord Wuqing. I understand. The Heavenly Lord Wuqing replied. Although his expression was serious, he still stared at the approaching Tsing Hui. He did not use the power of the everlasting mirror to escape immediately. Sword Master Tsing Hui, you can't win. The Heavenly Lord Wuqing looked at Tsing Hui, who was charging towards him in an instant. He let out a low roar and the power of the realm swept towards Tsing Hui. He already knew that his strongest Abhijna, the Love Destroyer, could not hurt Tsing Hui. He did not waste any more energy and only continued to use the power of the realm to tangle with Tsing Hui. Unfortunately, the combination of the Sword of the Sun and Chasing Light made it impossible for the Heartless Heaven Monarch to use this method to stall for time. Especially with his 10th order recovery, he was almost like a perpetual motion machine. If it wasn't for the Scarlet Abyss Sword's upper limit, as long as he maintained a certain frequency, he would be able to slash out the Sword of the Sun permanently without worrying about energy consumption. Seeing that Tsing Hui was about to attack him through the realm, the Heavenly Lord Wuqing immediately said, Sword Master Tsing Hui, this is meaningless. I believe you already know that we have used the divine Tao sect's most valuable treasure, the everlasting mirror. With the protection of the everlasting mirror, you can't kill us. Rather than that, why don't we join forces? Although the divine wilderness has the heavenly Tao, eternal, and divine wilderness, the one who truly has the qualifications to rule the divine wilderness is the heavenly Tao. As long as your four-sect alliance joins the heavenly Tao, not only will you be able to resolve the crisis you are facing immediately, you will also have the hope of leaving this desolate divine wilderness and heading to a higher world to cultivate to a higher realm. Sword Master Tsing Hui, you are overflowing with talent and even have the hope of creating a world with a single thought in the future, becoming an important figure in the primal chaos void. You don't wish to die of old age in the divine sage realm because of environmental factors, right? Are these your last words? Tsing Hui slashed out once again, completely tearing apart the heavenly Lord Wuqing's realm. And his attitude seemed to have infuriated the heavenly Lord Wuqing, causing him to roar, "Fool! We are all heaven-bestowed geniuses, proud sons of heaven that were born from the providence of the entire divine wilderness. Our futures are limitless, so how can we ignore our future development just because of a small sex bias? There is an even wider stage outside the divine wilderness, and only the heavenly Tao can bring us to that stage. For someone like you who is stubbornly guarding the divine wilderness without any future, you will only be stuck in a stalemate. There will come a day when you will be eliminated in the long river of history. When your lifespan comes to an end and you are on your deathbed, even if you want to join the heavenly Tao and head to a higher world with the heavenly Tao, you will no longer have the chance. This is the reason why you betrayed the divine wilderness, and you say it in such a dignified manner. I don't care about the future of the divine wilderness, but I am indebted to exalted candlelight and exalted firmament. You assisted the heavenly Tao in trapping them and wanted to kill them, so you are my enemy. As my enemy, you should be prepared to pay the price of your life. Open for me. The moment Tsing Hui finished speaking, the scarlet abyss sword burst out with light, and the layer of domain that was blocking him and Heavenly Lord Heartless was instantly torn apart. The moment the domain was torn apart, Heavenly Lord Heartless' expression changed. He immediately used the power of the contract with the everlasting mirror to pull his body, disappearing in front of Tsing Hui. Since you can't kill me, let us see who will have the last laugh. You will see it soon. Tsing Hui's dimensional lock immediately locked onto Heavenly Lord Heartless. The moment Heavenly Lord Heartless disappeared, the dimensional lock's power was activated. The next moment, the space around him rapidly changed, and the teleportation efficiency was even faster than the teleportation technique. When Heavenly Lord Heartless appeared on a mountain less than 200 kilometers away from the Divine Tao sect, Tsing Hui's figure had already appeared. Seeing Tsing Hui appear behind him, Heavenly Lord Heartless suddenly widened his eyes. I said, you will see it soon. Chapter 679. Seeing Tsing Hui suddenly appear in front of him, the Heavenly Lord of Mercilessness's eyes widened. Like I said, you will see who the final victor is. As Tsing Hui spoke, sword will erupted. Blazing sword radiance filled the Heavenly Lord of Mercilessness's spiritual world. Before he could disperse this radiant sword radiance in time, the flowing light formed by the scarlet abyss sword in Tsing Hui's hand had already swept across his body. Terrifying roiling flames completely engulfed his figure. The Heavenly Lord of Mercilessness. An existence whose combat strength could be classified as a third-tier pinnacle existence among the Divine Tao sect was annihilated on the spot under the horrified gazes of countless people in the Divine Tao sect. Ah! Jinxiong Tsing Hui, it's Jinxiong Tsing Hui. The sudden turn of events caused everyone in the Divine Tao sect to cry out in shock and fury. At this moment, the one overseeing the Divine Tao sect and wielding the Wuji mirror was the Heavenly Lord of Fire, who was originally overseeing the Karma Peak. Tsing Hui's arrival also caused this Divine Tao sect powerhouse to turn pale with fright. Deeply aware of Tsing Hui's overwhelming combat strength, he didn't hesitate at all. Immediately, he put the Wuji mirror into his personal space. After that, he retreated explosively and rapidly flew towards the Divine Tao sect, where the protective mountain formation was already fully activated. Leave. Do you think you can leave? Leave the Wuji mirror behind. Xing Hui roared, and the Lihan heaven domain enveloped down. Even though the might of this 16th order domain-type treasure in his hands was far inferior to when it was in the Lihan holy man's hands, it still required an all-out attack from a divine Tao powerhouse like the Heavenly Lord of Fire to shatter it. The time it took for this attack was enough for Xing Hui, who had activated his light-chasing Abhijna, to catch up. Stop him! Fire Lord of Heaven roared. In the next moment, the 4 Earth-grade lawful phenomenon of heaven and earth experts beside him had already made their moves. These lawful phenomenon of heaven and earth experts had stayed behind to deal with the experts of the 4 sects who were pursuing them. Every one of them was in the state of lawful phenomenon of heaven and earth. At this moment, they simultaneously activated their divine abilities. For a moment, the Azure Dragon, White Tiger, Vermilion Bird, and Xuanwu's divine abilities appeared at the same time. The divine abilities they had transformed into contained supreme killing intent. Moreover, they intertwined as one and swept towards Xing Hui. The power of the divine abilities was inconceivable. Even if a true saint expert was hit head-on, he would not be able to escape the fate of having his domain torn apart. But, Xing Hui wasn't at the domain realm. Moreover, with his light chaser ability, he didn't need to fear attacks from anyone below the saint realm. As the attacks of the 4 celestial phenomenon experts descended, his speed suddenly exploded. In an instant, he left the area covered by the 4 divine abilities and arrived behind Lord of the Virtues of Fire. He collided with Lord of the Virtues of Fire and Virtue's surging domain. Break! Strong light shot out in all directions. A ripple visible to the naked eye crazily squeezed Lord of the Virtues of Fire's domain. In the next second, it shook and tore Lord of the Virtues of Fire's domain into pieces. Slash! The moment Lord of the Virtues of Fire's domain was shattered, Xing Hui's sword intent was like a rising sun. It shone into Lord of the Virtues of Fire's spiritual world. It seemed like it would turn Lord of the Virtues of Fire's spiritual world into a sea of fire in the next second. However, at that moment, the phantom of a phoenix sacred beast suddenly appeared in Lord of the Virtues of Fire's spiritual world. It opened its mouth and sucked, swallowing Xing Hui's sword intent that had been projected into Lord of the Virtues of Fire's spiritual world. However, not long after the phoenix sacred beast phantom swallowed Xing Hui's brilliant sword intent, the explosive power of the sword intent had already caused the phoenix phantom to explode. Correspondingly, the power of the sword intent had also been exhausted. Relying on the phoenix sacred beast blood eagle, Lord of the Virtues of Fire recovered from Xing Hui's sword intent. His expression changed drastically. Damn it! My phoenix sacred figure can only block one attack. Lord of the Virtues of Fire was both shocked and fearful. The aura of the divine spell surged from his body. Even though it wasn't a high-level divine spell that could raise one's mastery by 2 levels, under the amplification of the divine spell, a brand new domain power surged forth and blocked Lord of the Virtues of Fire's body. After that, he clenched his fist and the Wuji mirror shot out flowing light in all directions. Following that, there were ripples in space. When the ripples in space dissipated, the Styx River Holy Man, Wuxia Holy Man and Heavenly Lord of Shangshan, who were originally roaming around the Karma Peak, appeared at the same time. Lord of the Virtues of Fire. Seeing the changes in his surroundings, the Styx River Holy Man was slightly shocked. In the next moment, his gaze landed on Xing Hui, who was emitting a blazing aura. Wasn't he at the Karma Peak not too long ago? How can he appear here so quickly? Teleportation spell. It's the teleportation spell. There must be a spy near the Wuji mirror who passed the news over here. After that, he used his familiarity with the periphery of the Divine Path sect to follow Lord of the Virtues of Fire here. He took advantage of Lord of the Virtues of Fire's confusion to kill him. Lord of the Virtues of Fire shouted. What? Lord of the Virtues of Fire actually? Damn it. The third. The third. This is already the third holy sage that has fallen since the start of the War of the Heavenly Way. Murderous intent flashed in Heavenly Lord of Shangshan's eyes as he thought about the death of Lord of the Virtues of Fire. His gaze instantly landed on the Divine Path sect's protective mountain formation. He communicated with his telepathic thoughts. If the Divine Path sect's protective mountain formation is activated at its maximum capacity, its range will be extended by another 300 kilometers. It can completely envelop Tsing-Hui within the protective mountain formation of the Divine Path sect. With the power of the protective mountain formation and the combined power of the four great holy sages, we can completely trap him here and kill him on the spot. That's right, we'll use this method. I'll trap him. Heavenly Lord of Shangshan, you activate the protective mountain formation of the Divine Path sect. The Nether River holy man said viciously. Then, he held up his hand and the power of his domain boiled. It turned into a raging river that was 100 kilometers long and 10 kilometers wide. The river was filled with the water of the Nether River. Once someone was swept into it, even an Aurus core stage cultivator would be corroded into nothingness. Tsing-Hui saw that the Nether River holy man, Wuxia holy man, and Lord of the Virtues of Fire did not immediately cooperate with the Lord of the Virtues of Fire to retreat into the Divine Path sect's protective mountain formation. Instead, they each used their own methods to try and trap him. He frowned and immediately realized that something was amiss. Then, he saw the Heavenly Lord of Shangshan rushing towards the Divine Path sect, which was only 50 kilometers away from him. He had already guessed something. He glanced at the Lord of the Virtues of Fire. More accurately, he was staring at the level 17 ultimate mirror in the Lord of the Virtues of Fire's hand. He said with some reluctance, I'll let you all go this time. Wait until I tear apart the chaos dimension of the blunt holy man, then I'll deal with all of you one by one. After he finished speaking, he did not give the Heavenly Lord of Shangshan the chance to activate the protective mountain formation of the Divine Path sect. He unleashed his light-chasing Abhijna and accelerated to the extreme in an instant. He swept up a deafening sonic boom and disappeared into the horizon. Damn it, he actually ran away. This bastard is too alert. The moment he sensed that something was wrong with us, he immediately ran away. Furthermore, his flying speed is extremely fast. None of us can compare to him in terms of flying speed. The Heavenly Lord of Shangshan, Lord of the Virtues of Fire, Nether River Holy Man, and Wuxia Holy Man watched Tsing-Hui leave quickly. Their eyes were filled with hatred. However, it's fortunate that he has already used the teleportation spell. Even if his chaos dimension is extremely high and is suspected to be level 44, I don't think he will be able to use the teleportation spell again in a short period of time. The tragedy of the Heavenly Lord of Heartless will not happen to us. The Heavenly Lord of the Virtues of Fire said with some lingering fear. After hearing the Heavenly Lord of the Virtues of Fire mention the Heavenly Lord of Heartless, the Nether River Holy Man, Lord of the Virtues of Shangshan, and Wuxia Holy Man all fell silent. They were filled with a sense of oppression. The Heavenly Lord of Heartless was the third type of divine sage. His love destroyer was so powerful that it was invincible against ordinary divine sages. However, such a powerful divine sage had fallen in the hands of Tsing-Hui. The threat that Tsing-Hui posed was so strong that it made them feel more and more oppressed and even suffocated. It had only been a few days since the battle between the Way of the Heavens and the Celestial Vault sect, the Rainbow Sword sect, the Black Flame sect, and the Sword Shadow sect. They had already paid the price of the Zhurong Holy Man, the Heavenly Lord of Water Virtue, and the Heavenly Lord of Heartless. The battle had yet to be concluded, but their losses had already reached such a level. When the four-sect alliance was completely destroyed by the Way of the Heavens, how many of them would be left? Even, in the battle between the Way of the Heavens and the four-sect alliance, could they really have the last laugh? For the first time, the heavenly lord of the virtues of fire and the heavenly lord of the virtues of Shangshan had such doubts. Heavenly lord of the virtues of Shangshan, Nether River holy man, Wuxia holy man, all of you have to be careful. Tsing Hui's sword mind is much stronger than we imagined. Originally, we guessed that his sword mind was only slightly stronger than the heavenly lord of Heartless. But according to my experience, the power of his sword mind is at least twice as strong as the heavenly lord of Heartless Love Destroyer. Even after my phoenix holy statue was nurtured to its peak state, it could only resist his sword mind once. As the heavenly lord of the virtues of Hua spoke, he took out a fiery red phoenix statue that was half the size of his palm. The statue, which was originally revolving with divine light, had already become dim. It was like an ornament in the mortal world. Twice as strong as the Love Destroyer, the expressions of the Nether River Holy Man, the heavenly lord of the virtues of Shangshan, and the Wuxia Holy Man became even more ghastly. Do we continue to harass them? Heavenly Lord of the virtues of Shangshan was silent for a moment before he asked. The Nether River Holy Man and Wuxia Holy Man looked at each other. As they thought about the fate of the Heavenly Lord of Heartless, the two of them did not speak. Even though Tsing Hui had already used his teleportation spell, it was important not to forget that there was still the Shadow-bearing Sword Master. If the Shadow-bearing Sword Master used his teleportation spell to chase after them, how could the few of them resist? Would they lose another one of them? As he thought of this, the Nether River Holy Man could not help but feel a deep sense of helplessness. There's no other way. We can only place our hopes on the blunt Holy Man. We can only hope that the chaotic realm of the chaotic Holy Man can withstand the attacks of Tsing Hui, the Shadow-bearing Sword Master and the rest. We can only spend 1 or 2 years to trap Zhu Zhao, Zhang Qiong, Bai Heng, Chang Hong and Yuing to death. If we can trap them to death, we can still turn the tables. If we can't, the Nether River Holy Man did not need to elaborate on what would happen if they could not be trapped to death. The Four-Sect Alliance, which had the Zhu Zhao Exalted Man, Tsing Hui and the Shadow-bearing Sword Master, would become the fourth most powerful figure in the Divine Wilderness after the Heavenly Way, the Divine Wilderness and the Eternity. From today onwards, the structure of the Divine Wilderness would be changed because of this battle. Chapter 680. He's here. It's Swordmaster Tsing Hui. Tsing Hui is back. So fast. If I'm not wrong, it hasn't even been 2 hours since Tsing Hui chased after the Heavenly Lord Merciless. He actually returned from the Divine Path sect in 2 hours. With this speed, it won't take much time to traverse the entire Tianhuang mainland. Sensing the booming sound that came from the end of the horizon, Sword Master Qingying, Sword Master Xing Yi, Sword Master Peng Guang, Sword Master Xian Wu, Real God Suffering, Real God Only and the others who were waiting outside Cause and Effect Peak quickly looked over. Swish! They didn't have to wait for long before Tsing Hui appeared in front of them. Tsing Hui, did you manage to kill the Heavenly Lord Merciless in this battle? Seeing Tsing Hui return safely, Sword Master Xing Yi smiled and asked. Oh, you didn't receive any news? Tsing Hui was a little surprised. Our spies have received news that a great battle erupted outside the sect between the Green Ruins Sword Master and the Heavenly Lord of the Fire Virtue of the Divine Path sect. However, the people who can remain on the battlefield are all core members of the Divine Path sect. No one of unknown origins can enter the core circle, so the news we've received is limited to that battle. Sword Master Xing Yi said. Even Sword Master Xing Yi, who was proficient in gathering information, gave such an answer. The Rainbow Sword Sect, Heaven Dome Sect, and Black Flame Sect were naturally not any better. The news they received was similar, or even worse than Swordmaster Xing Yi. Seeing this, Tsing Hui said, I've already killed the Heavenly Lord Merciless. It's a pity that the Heavenly Lord of the Fire Virtue reacted too quickly. He immediately used the power of the Wuji Mirror to send the Styx River Holy Man, Heavenly Lord of Goodness, and Colorless Holy Man back. This allowed the Heavenly Lord of the Fire Virtue to survive. I saw that we were less than 50 kilometers away from the Divine Path sect's protective formation. I was worried that something might happen, so I retreated. The Heavenly Lord Merciless was killed. This is great. In fact, in the entire way of the heavens, the one who poses the greatest threat to me is the Heavenly Lord of Heartless. Even the Anisrava Holy Man, Styx River Holy Man and the rest are not as threatening as the Heavenly Lord of Heartless. Who would have thought that someone like the Heavenly Lord of Heartless would perish in the hands of you, Tsing Hui? Now, we can be even bolder when we need to carry out any operations. When Sword Master Xingyi heard this, his face instantly lit up. True God Suffering nodded in agreement. The Heartless Heaven Lord's Love Destroyer Blade doesn't just kill a cultivator's physique. It can also destroy a cultivator's divine soul. I once fought with the Heartless Heaven Lord, and my divine soul was injured by the Heartless Heaven Lord's 3 blades. If it wasn't for true God Savior watching over me, I'm afraid my life would be in danger. Now that the Heartless Heaven Lord, who posed the greatest threat to us, is dead, our safety has undoubtedly increased greatly. The Heavenly Lord of Heartless isn't weak. Unfortunately, he met the Tsing Hui Sword Master. Tsing Hui Sword Master specializes in the art of the sword and his sword mind is shocking. When his Passion Destroyer Blade Mind clashed with Sword Master Tsing Hui Sword Master's sword mind, he was obviously at a disadvantage. As such, he was completely restrained by Sword Master Tsing Hui Sword Master. This is what it means to say that there's always someone stronger. The Pengguang Sword Master's face was also filled with joy. We have already received news that the Styx River Holy Man, the Heavenly Lord of Goodness, the Formless Holy Man, and the Heavenly Lord of the Fire Virtue seem to have given up. They are still lingering in the Divine Path sect and haven't left. It seems like they don't dare to come. The Shadow-Bearing Sword Master said with a smile. Every time they come, a divine sage dies. Every time they come, a divine sage dies. Even though the way of the heavens is rich and has many experts, they can't afford such losses. The Sword Master Comprehend Sword Master said. Everyone else nodded their heads forcefully. Are the people from the way of the heavens not planning to come out? Tsing Hui glanced at his chaotic stage. To raise his chaotic stage to stage 65, the entire process would waste a total of 600 Daoist aura items. He originally wanted to use the dimensional lock to go on a killing spree. However, he didn't expect the death of the Heavenly Lord of Heartless to scare the Heavenly Lord of the Way of the Heavens and the Heavenly Lords of the Divine Path sect into not daring to act rashly. Looking at it this way, he seemed to have made a loss. Of course, this was only Tsing Hui's thoughts. If the people from the Way of the Heavens knew that Tsing Hui was still not satisfied after using 600 Daoist aura to exchange for a third-type divine sage, they would definitely stomp their feet and beat their chests in anger. If it were them, they wouldn't hesitate to kill the Heavenly Lord of the Heavens and Sword Master Baihang for 1200 Daoist aura, let alone 600 Daoist aura. Alright, since the people from the Way of the Heavens are holed up in the Divine Path sect and won't come out, there's no time to lose. Let's go all out and activate the power of the Heavenly Abode Divine Stone and try to tear apart the chaotic dimension. Tsing Hui said seriously. Everyone stopped joking and nodded seriously. Soon, they arrived at the bottom of the chaotic dimension. Let's attack together. The 9 of us will attack the same place. Only then can we hope to tear the chaotic dimension apart. Tsing Hui commanded. All right. We understand. Rest assured, Sword Master Tsing Hui. Everyone agreed one after another. The battle prowess that Qing Su had displayed recently had gained the recognition of everyone present. Even the master of the shadow-bearing sword admitted that he was not as powerful as Qing Su. As a result, everyone could not help but treat him as their new leader, so they followed his orders when they did things. Tsing Hui looked at the chaotic dimension above his head that was emitting clouds of grayish-black aura. He took a deep breath and said seriously, everyone, I won't say much. The power of the heavenly abode divine stone has been drawn out and can only last for one breath. In this one breath, everyone should try your best to use your strongest killing moves and attack the place above me. Whether we can tear the chaotic dimension apart and rescue Master Zhu Zhao, Heavenly Lord, Sword Master Baiheng, Sword Master Long Rainbow, and Sword Master Yuing will depend on this. The others nodded solemnly as well. One by one, they took out their strongest divine weapons. Get ready. After 3 breaths, we will draw out the power of the heavenly abode divine stone and attack together. After Tsinghui finished speaking, the sword essence in his spiritual world was the first to burst out. Suddenly, brilliant sword light shone in all directions and turned into a giant sword shadow with a diameter of more than 100 meters. The sword essence emitted from the giant sword was so strong that it could suppress everything. Only Lan Rui, who was in celestial body in earth realm, felt her sword essence dissipating slightly. Fortunately, the heavenly abode divine sword contained sword essence, which allowed her to resist Tsinghui's sword essence. Sword Master Tsinghui is indeed worthy. The sword master of the shadow-bearing sword looked at the brilliant sword essence emitted from Tsinghui's head and his fighting spirit was aroused. Although he knew that he was not a match for Tsinghui in a head-on battle, this did not mean that he was willing to be inferior. Immediately, the sword essence in the shadow-bearing sword was also activated by him. For a moment, he seemed to have turned into a voidwalker. Although his sword essence was clearly bursting out, it was like a deep black hole that kept devouring the energy and light in the surroundings. As a result, no one could feel the existence of his sword essence at all. Since the sword master of the shadow-bearing sword was like this, the other divine stage powerhouses also started to accumulate their power. Immediately, powerful domains started to boil under the chaotic origin realm. The aura of the divine stage turned into a pillar of air that soared into the sky and stirred up the wind and clouds. Even people hundreds or even thousands of kilometers away could sense it clearly. It has begun. Countless forces that had been watching Tianxiong, Sword Shadow, Rainbow Sword Sect, and Black Flame Order for a long time to see the alliance of the 4 sects against the Way of Heaven, the Divine Path sect, thought to themselves at the same time. 9 divine stage powerhouses using the power of the heavenly cave divine stone to tear apart the chaotic origin realm of the chaotic origin realm of the chaotic origin realm. Throughout the past hundreds of years, such a battle was probably unprecedented. If it were not for the fact that they were too close to the Sword Master Tsinghui and the Sword Master of the Shadow-Bearing Sword, the top figures of the major forces would not miss this opportunity. Tsinghui, the Sword Master of the Shadow-Bearing Sword, the Sword Master of the Pengguang Sword, the Sword Master of the Xingyi Sword, the Sword Master of the Profound Understanding Sword, the Suffering True God, the One True God, the Sword Master of the Mist Rui Sword, and the Sword Master of the Hidden Sword. Among the 9 of them, only 6 were in the divine stage. Tsinghui, the Sword Master of the Mist Rui Sword, and the Sword Master of the Hidden Sword were not really in the divine stage. However, their attacks had all reached the divine stage. Especially Tsinghui, whose Sword of the Sun was amplified by the divine power of the chasing light, its power had already surpassed that of ordinary divine stage powerhouses. Now, the 9 of them activated the power of the heavenly cave divine stone at the same time and attacked fiercely. For a moment, 9 different colored attacks soared into the sky like 9 pillars of light with destructive power that could tear apart the sky and instantly fell on the chaotic origin realm at the same time. Rumble. As the chaos primordial realm was hit by the 9 powerful attacks, the grayish-black airflow inside suddenly surged wildly. A huge crack instantly appeared outside the chaos primordial realm and kept spreading inwards. When the crack spread to a certain extent, everyone widened their eyes at the same time. They could clearly see the depths of the chaos primordial realm, the vast world that was thousands of kilometers long and looked like a vast starry sky. When everyone saw the vast starry sky, the figures in the starry sky also noticed them at the same time. Instantly, they all rushed over at their fastest speed. It's the Venerable Zhu Zhao, the Venerable Tianxiong, the Sword Master of the Baiheng Sword, the Sword Master of the Rainbow Sword, and the Sword Master of the Hidden Shadow Sword. Seeing the figures in the chaotic origin realm, Xing Hui, the Sword Master of the Pengguang Sword, the Sword Master of the Xingyi Sword, and the Sword Master of the Shadow-Bearing Sword cheered at the same time. However, before their cheers could spread, a vast and majestic sound that seemed to contain supreme mystery suddenly spread out from the chaotic origin realm with a power that could shake people's hearts. Reverse the universe. Suppress. Once the sound was heard, the grayish-black airflow around the chaotic origin realm that had been torn apart surged violently. In an instant, the cracks in all directions were mended rapidly. When everyone saw this scene, their expressions changed drastically. Oh no! Quickly attack and tear open the crack. We can't let the chaotic origin realm close up again. As the Sword Master of the Pengguang Sword screamed, the 9 divine stage experts attacked one after another. Once again, terrifying attacks erupted from the 9 of them, surged into the sky, and collided with the grayish-black airflow that was constantly surging from the chaotic origin realm. Chapter 681. Open. Although the attack of the 9 divine realm experts did not tear the gap in the chaos realm open again, it caused the surging grayish-black airflow to pause for a moment, and the speed of recovery slowed down by more than half. At the same time, in the vast starry sky, esteemed Zhu Zhao, Sword Master Bai Heng, Sword Master Long Rainbow, Sword Master Firmament, Sword Master Yuing, and the others rushed over as fast as they could. They shuttled through the void, trying to rush out of the chaos realm before it closed. But, among the 5 of them, except for esteemed Zhu Zhao, who had broken through to the void transformation realm, the others were obviously slower. When esteemed Zhu Zhao arrived at the gap, Sword Master Bai Heng, Sword Master Firmament, and the others were only halfway there, but the chaos realm in front of them was about to be sealed by the energy of Chaos Holy Man, especially, in the vast starry sky of the primal chaos realm, an elegant figure suddenly appeared. This figure was wearing a grayish-black Taoist robe, and his aura was extraordinary and majestic. There was a kind of lofty aura on his face, as if he was the ruler of all living things. Seeing this figure, Sword Master Chengying, Sword Master Xingyi, and Sword Master Pengguang, who were outside the chaos realm, could not help but cry out in horror, "Chaos Holy Man, Chaos Holy Man, it's Chaos Holy Man. Chaos Holy Man. Didn't they say that Chaos Holy Man has already turned into the chaos realm? How can he exist independently of the chaos realm?" Xing Hui was a little confused. This Chaos Holy Man did not attack esteemed Zhu Zhao. Instead, he clenched his fist, and the billowing power of the chaos realm suddenly surged from all directions, quickly entangling Sword Master Bai Heng, Sword Master Long Rainbow, Sword Master Yuing, and Sword Master Firmament. No. To be exact, he wanted to entangle Sword Master Bai Heng. Obviously, in the eyes of Chaos Holy Man, the biggest threat among the 5 divine sages was Sword Master Bai Heng, who had cultivated for only a few hundred years and was close to the battle strength of an ultimate expert. The others were tolerable. Alas! Master Zhu Zhao glanced at Master Tsang, Sword Master Bai Heng, Sword Master Long Rainbow, Sword Master Yuing, and so on behind him before looking at Qing Su, Sword Master Pengguang, Sword Master Shadow Bearing, and Sword Master Xingyi, who were worried outside the Chaos Origin world. In the end, he could only sigh, this is a clone of the Chaos Holy Man. The Chaos Holy Man's cloning technique has reached the 10th level, so he can create a clone. If I leave the Chaos Origin world, Master Tsang, Sword Master Bai Heng, Sword Master Long Rainbow, and Sword Master Yuing will definitely be slain by the Chaos Holy Man one by one. Only with me here can I keep the Chaos Holy Man busy so that you can do whatever you want outside. After he finished speaking, he could have stepped out of the chaotic primordial realm, but instead, he turned around. Accompanied by a loud dragon roar that shook the void, he summoned a powerful Abhijna and attacked the avatar of the Chaos Holy Man, Buzz. As Master Zhu Zhao left, the chaotic realm of origin that had been torn apart by the 9 people was finally filled by the surging grayish-black airflow from all directions. Before long, the area was completely filled. The chaotic primordial realm was sealed once again. It's over. Seeing this, Sword Master Xingyi's eyes flashed with pain. Damn it! The gap we've torn is too small. It's so small that the chaotic primordial realm will seal itself within a breath's time. It's not enough for Master Zhu Zhao and the others to leave the chaotic primordial realm quickly. The Chaos Holy Man is someone who has raised his avatar technique to the 10th level. He has an avatar in his chaotic primordial realm. This is troublesome. Even with Master Zhu Zhao around, their strength will still be depleted much faster than we expected under the interference of the Chaos Holy Man's avatar. If we can't tear the chaotic primordial realm apart and rescue them in 3 months, or at most half a year, they'll be exhausted to death by the Chaos Holy Man. Sword Master Pengguang's expression was grave. The Baihong Sword sect had 2 divine sages trapped inside. Once Sword Master Baihong and Sword Master Long Rainbow died, he would be the only one left in the Baihong Sword sect. Based on his lifespan, he could only live for 100 or 200 years at most. If the Baihong Sword sect did not produce any divine sages in these 200 years, the entire sect would decline. Fortunately, the Rainbow Sword Master stood his ground against all opposition and allowed this supreme expert, Qing Su, to become the 4th Sword Master of their Rainbow Sword sect, even if it was just an honorary one. No. Once he returned, he would immediately make Qing Su the actual Sword Master of the Fogbow Sword sect, binding him to the sect completely. Once he passed away, the Fogbow Sword sect would probably have to rely on the support of a supreme expert like the Qing Su Sword Master. 3 months. Sword Master Xingyi, Sword Master Shadow Bearing, Sword Master Xingyi, and even True God Only True God, who had just joined the 4-sect alliance, were all solemn. Although the 9 of them had indeed torn the chaotic primordial realm apart with the help of the heavenly cave divine stone, but the time was too short. If the time could be doubled, there's only one way now. Xing Hui said in a heavy tone, we need to collect and purchase as many heavenly cave divine stones as possible. Everyone has already seen the situation earlier. In actual fact, as long as we extend the time of the crack of the chaotic primordial realm by 2 times, we will be able to wait for Master Zhu Zhao, Master Tsang, Sword Master Baihong, Sword Master Long Rainbow, and Sword Master Yuing to rush out. Hence, we need heavenly cave divine stones. 27 heavenly cave divine stones. After the chaotic primordial realm was torn, it would be equivalent to leaving a gap. It would take a lot of energy to repair it. The price of the Paradise Divine Stone isn't that high. It's usually around 50 to 60 Daoist rhymes. Even 27 Paradise Divine Stones would only be around 1,500 Daoist rhymes. We can easily gather 1,500 Daoist rhymes. Therefore, the most important thing now is the channel. Let's return immediately and activate our intelligence network to buy as many Paradise Divine Stones as we can. Don't limit the number to 27, 30, 35, or even 40 Paradise Divine Stones. We'll try our best to get them if we can. Sword Master Pengguang said. We'll go and purchase them now. Let's split up. It's best if we can gather at least 27 Heavenly Cave Divine Stones within 3 months. Everyone agreed. Xing Hui even said, I'll take care of the Divine Path sect and Heavenly Tao. If they dare to send any divine sages out alone, I'll let them know the price they have to pay. Alright. With Sword Master Xing Hui around, we can rest easy. We'll leave the Divine Path sect and Heavenly Tao to you, Sword Master Xing Hui. The Rainbow Sword sect, Black Flame Cult, and Sword Shadow all expressed their opinions. Immediately, everyone returned to the Rainbow Sword sect. After recuperating in the Rainbow Sword sect for a while, they quickly scattered and used their fastest speed to inquire about the whereabouts of the Heavenly Cave Divine Stones. The Heavenly Cave Divine Stones were useless to cultivators below the Divine Realm. If they wanted to purchase them, they could only do so from the divine realm powerhouses. Many divine sages were worried that they would one day fall into a spatial mezzanine. When that happened, they could only rely on the heavenly cave divine stones to tear through the void and return to the divine wilderness. Hence, most people would keep some heavenly cave divine stones with them. And according to the calculations of the divine wilderness's divine sage experts, as long as they were willing to spend a Tao vessel item, it would not be difficult to purchase 27 heavenly cave divine stones. However, Tsing-Hui soon realized that they had underestimated the situation when they received news from the various large factions. The news of the 9 great sages wanting to use the heavenly cave divine stones to tear the primal chaos primordial world had long been known by the heavenly Tao. It was impossible for the heavenly Tao's primordial chaos primordial world to be unprepared. While Tsing-Hui and the rest were focusing their efforts on the primal chaos primordial world, the heavenly Tao and divine path sect had secretly sent people to purchase the heavenly cave divine stones from various merchant associations and divine sages at the price of 80 Tao charms per stone. Currently, the number of heavenly cave divine stones in the outside world had dropped to a frightening number. Relying on special channels and friendship, Shadow Sword, Black Flame Sect, Sky Dome Sect, and Rainbow Sword Sect spent half a day to purchase 6 Grotto Heaven divine stones. However, by the time they had purchased all the Grotto Heaven divine stones from their friends, the price of the remaining Grotto Heaven divine stones had shot up to 150 Daoist rhymes and above. Someone had even offered 200 Daoist rhymes for a Grotto Heaven divine stone. With 150 Tao charms per stone, there were still 21 heavenly cave divine stones empty. In other words, the 4-sect alliance would have to spend at least 3,000 Tao charms on these 13 heavenly cave divine stones. Moreover, this was an ideal price. As time went on, the sages would definitely raise the price even more. When the time came, it was not impossible to spend 250 Tao charms or even 300 Tao charms to purchase one heavenly cave divine stone. When Tsing-Hui plundered the Black Flame cult, 1,500 Tao charms was equivalent to squandering all of the Black Flame cult's Tao charms. However, most of these Tao charms were spent by Tsing-Hui on himself. Sky Dome's Tao charms were not abundant either. Back then, in order to purchase the originator for esteemed Zhu Zhao, 1,500 Tao charms worth of Tao charms were invested in it. Moreover, most of the Tao charms in Sky Dome were with esteemed Zhu Zhao. It would take some time for them to gather all the Tao charms. Most importantly, even if they managed to gather enough Tao charms and bought all the heavenly cave divine stones on the market at the price of 200 Tao charms for one heavenly cave divine stone, it was still a problem whether they could gather all 27 heavenly cave divine stones in the end. Damn it, the heavenly Tao and divine Tao sect actually came up with such a drastic plan. According to our calculations, there are at least 30 heavenly cave divine stones in the heavenly Tao. Since each sage has one heavenly cave divine stone, there should not be more than 80 heavenly cave divine stones on the market. We have already used 9 of them, and the heavenly Tao has taken 30 of them. There are less than half of the heavenly cave divine stones left on the market. We have to buy at least 27 of these 40 heavenly cave divine stones. Especially when the sages know that we urgently need heavenly cave divine stones. In Tsing-Hui's personal space in the Chaos Divine Palace, the representatives of the 4-sect alliances gathered once again. The one who looked furious was Sword Master Xingyi of Sword Shadow. An astronomical number. In the end, the 4-sect alliances would have to spend an astronomical number of Tao charms. This is still not the worst-case scenario. Venerable Master Tsang Zhen, who represented Sky Dome, said in a deep voice, "The worst-case scenario is that if we really pay a huge price to gather all the heavenly cave divine stones, the Tao charms in our respective sects will definitely be used up. What if the heavenly Tao or divine Tao sect chooses to start a primal chaos war with us at this time? How are we going to defend ourselves when our Tao charms are exhausted? A primal chaos war. These 4 words made the representatives of the 4 great sects shiver in fear. That's right, if the Heavenly Tao or Divine Tao sect took advantage of the fact that their Tao charms were exhausted and started a primal chaos war with them, how would they deal with it? Chapter 682. The meeting in the Chaos Temple didn't yield any results. Everyone could only think of ways to buy as many Grotto Heaven stones as possible at the best price. At the same time, those who had reached the 29th level tried to reach the 30th level as soon as possible to see if they could buy Grotto Heaven stones from the Chaos Treasure Pavilion. However, it wasn't easy for the Chaos Treasure Pavilion to update items, and the chances of finding a Grotto Heaven stone were even lower. Everyone could only do their best and leave the rest to fate. The White Rainbow Sword Sect. Tsing Hui stood on a boulder and looked in the direction of the Karma Peak, deep in thought. Saint Realm. I wonder if I'll be able to tear apart the Chaos Primordial Realm with the help of the Divine Art once I break through to the Saint Realm. Tsing Hui weighed the pros and cons in his mind. Soon, he came to a regrettable conclusion. Even if he broke through to the Saint Realm and used the Divine Art to amplify his power, his attack wouldn't be able to reach the level of the 9 Saints' attack with Grotto Heaven stones. Moreover, domain. He had no idea how to condense the origin of a domain and step into the Saint Realm. Hidden Sword Venerable had only created the first and second step of the Ultimate Sword Tao. Now, his understanding of the Ultimate Sword Tao had already surpassed Hidden Sword Venerable's. As for what he wanted to do in the future, it was all up to him. A domain requires the combination of sword force, law understanding, and innate charm. I already have sword force, but innate charm. It's not like I can't get it. I'll just go overseas and see if I can kill a divine beast. The key lies in the laws of heaven and earth. Ordinary saints rely on the innate gifts of divine beasts to comprehend the laws of heaven and earth. They create divine beast souls that are similar to divine beasts and saint beasts, and can resonate with the corresponding laws. As for me, I've already given up on the bloodline of divine beasts, so it'll be extremely difficult for me to cultivate the laws of heaven and earth. This can be seen from the fact that the infinite Tao fruit that can perfect one's laws only allowed me to barely touch the laws of heaven and earth. Am I really going to have to skip the domain realm and unravel realm? Tsing Hui had used the divine art to launch a vacuum-shattering attack before, but that wasn't the same as a true vacuum-shattering attack. A true vacuum-shattering expert was a perfect combination of power and law, while he was purely destructive. Tsing Hui. Just as Qing Su was racking his brains and coming up with a plan to save Master Zhu Zhao, Master Sky, and the others, the Hidden Sword Venerable appeared behind him. Sword Sovereign. Tsing Hui nodded slightly when he saw Hidden Sword Venerable. He still had a certain level of respect for this Almighty who had selflessly imparted the ultimate Sword Tao to him. Have you thought of a way to save Master Zhu Zhao, Master Tianxiong, and the others? Hidden Sword Venerable said. It's not that simple. The Chaos Holy Man is famous for his Chaos Realm. When he was in the Divine Realm, he trapped 14 Divine Realm experts for a day. Now that he has broken through to the profound Void Realm, his Chaos Realm has become even more powerful. If we want to break it, we won't have any hope unless several Void-shattering Realm experts take action. Tsing Hui said with a wry smile. Is there no hope? Hidden Sword Venerable fell silent, as if he was thinking about something. After a while, he slowly said, if you really don't have any other way to tear the Chaos Realm apart, why don't you come with me to the Hidden Sword Sect? Maybe you can find a way to tear the Chaos Realm apart there. Hidden Sword Sect. Tsing Hui was slightly stunned. In front of them, they were facing a problem that even Sky Vault, Rainbow Sword Sect, Sword Shadow, Black Flame Cult, these top behemoths of the Divine Wilderness were helpless against. Several Sage Realm experts and even the strongest experts of the Sage Realm were helpless. What could the Hidden Sword Sect do to help? I'm not sure, but, if you really can't find any other way, you can try going to the Hidden Sword Sect. Hidden Sword Venerable said. Tsing Hui looked at Hidden Sword Venerable in front of him and was silent for a while before he slowly said, Hidden Sword Venerable, can you tell me the reason? The reason. Hidden Sword Venerable looked at Tsing Hui. After all these years of experience, he had enough trust in Tsing Hui. Otherwise, he wouldn't have handed over the entire Hidden Sword sect to him. Now that things had come to this, there was nothing wrong with telling Tsing Hui about this. Do you know of an ancient rumor about the Hidden Sword sect? An ancient rumor about the Hidden Sword sect? Qing Su was just about to say that the Hidden Sword sect was a sect completely founded by the Sword Venerable of the Hidden Sword, but in the next moment, he seemed to think of something, and his breathing stagnated slightly. Are you talking about the ancient sword that has always been circulating in the Hidden Sword sect? 7-star Dragon Abyss Sword? But didn't you tell me that the ancient godly sword doesn't exist in the Hidden Sword sect? Hidden Sword Venerable nodded, then shook his head. I don't know if the ancient godly sword exists in the Hidden Sword sect, but maybe, there really is an ancient godly sword hidden in the Hidden Sword sect's base. Tsing Hui suddenly understood something. You mean, the ancient godly sword doesn't belong to the Hidden Sword sect? Hidden Sword Venerable shook his head. The Hidden Sword sect was built by me, so logically speaking, I should know the Hidden Sword sect like the back of my hand. But in reality, there is a mysterious place in the Hidden Sword sect that I can't control, and that is the Myriad Swords Peak. Myriad Swords Peak. Tsing Hui thought of the many ancient sword spirits on the Myriad Swords Peak and a thought flashed through his mind. Myriad Swords Peak. That's right, there are many sword spirits on the Myriad Swords Peak. Which one of them didn't have tens of thousands of years of history? Hidden Sword sect had only been built for 1,000 years, and even Hidden Sword Venerable had only lived for a few thousand years. How could the sword spirits on the Myriad Swords Peak be brought to the Hidden Sword sect because of the Hidden Sword sect's establishment? They were clearly in the Myriad Swords Peak long ago, but no one paid attention to them. There are a large number of divine swords and sword spirits on the Wanjian Peak. However, people are short-sighted. In their eyes, those sword spirits that are only in the awakening realm, true Qi realm, and spirit refining realm are of no use. Rather than spending time on subduing those treasured swords that contain sword spirits, they might as well nurture a few prominent divine experts. Thus, the Wanjian Peak has never been seen as important by anyone, until Hidden Sword Venerable's eyes flashed with a trace of reminiscence. Until I passed by the Myriad Swords Peak, that's right. At that time, I was only at the Golden Core stage and had yet to step into the Transcendent stage and become an almighty. However, at that time, I was rather curious about the Myriad Swords Peak and wanted to find out the secrets it contained. In the end, I naturally gained nothing. At that time, I was extremely arrogant. Even though I knew that the Myriad Swords Peak was mysterious, I still couldn't figure out what was wrong with the Myriad Swords Peak. Therefore, I wanted to destroy the Myriad Swords Peak. Tsing Hui was startled. It was not an easy task for a Golden Core realm cultivator to destroy the Myriad Swords Peak. Moreover, just because of a rumor that had not been verified, he wanted to destroy a mountain. How senseless was that? It was like a mortal emperor who heard that there were traces of immortals on a mountain. Because he could not find the real immortal, he ordered his army to raze the mountain to the ground. The probability of such a thing happening was too low. Because of this thought of mine, my life changed. Hidden Sword Venerable's eyes were filled with fear. Hidden Sword Saint's eyes were filled with indescribable fear as he continued, when I gathered my power and destroyed a small part of the Myriad Sword Peak, I felt like I had triggered something. I couldn't even describe it with words. It was an indescribable fear. It was like a small mortal watching a real sun fall from the sky. The suffocating desperation almost made it hard for me to breathe. Hidden Sword Venerable could not help but shudder after he finished speaking. The fear of the unknown, it was also because of the baptism of this unknown fear that I used my own willpower to overcome this fear that my spirit underwent a metamorphosis. In the end, I was able to step into the realm of Almighty. However, although my willpower overcame my fear of a certain terrifying existence within the Myriad Sword's peak, it could only make me feel less afraid. As for continuing to destroy the Myriad Sword's peak or having any other thoughts about it, I would never dare to do so. Hidden Sword Venerable let out a long sigh. Later on, I slowly studied the Myriad Sword Peak and slowly experienced the fear that came from the Myriad Sword Peak. Gradually, I understood something. The fear that came from the Myriad Sword Peak was a sword intent. It was not the sword intent of the sword itself, but the sword intent of the sword spirit of the godly sword. Perhaps the sword spirit's power was limited, but its nature was shocking, or perhaps the sword spirit didn't want to kill me. Anyway, I set up the Hidden Sword sect beside the Hidden Sword Peak and survived for so many years. At the same time, I tried my best to get the approval of the sword spirit. Xing Hui understood. So you changed your cultivation to the ultimate sword Dao? Hidden Sword Venerable nodded. All these years, no matter what I did, that sword intent, or the mysterious sword spirit behind that sword intent, never removed its hostility towards me. Thus, I didn't dare to have any thoughts of using force against the Myriad Sword's peak. Instead, I sent one disciple after another to explore the Myriad Sword's peak, hoping that those disciples with overflowing talent would be able to obtain the recognition of that mysterious will and allow me to see the true face of that mysterious will. But, without exception, I failed. Sword Venerate Hidden Sword paused for a moment before looking at Qing Su, until, you appeared. Me? Xing Hui's heart skipped a beat. Yes, you appeared. The moment you obtained the Hymn of 100 Swords, I once again sensed the existence of that mysterious and mighty will. It was so ancient, so profound, so vast. Even though I don't know why it hasn't appeared yet, I know that it has acknowledged you. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.